we're getting very close. Oh, we're getting very close. Please hit that like. Don't be afraid. It's all right. Lovely. There's a little like button. It's down there. You can see it. It's right in front of you. It shouldn't take any effort at all. No? No, you could. I mean, it's right there. You can just click it. Just click it. Do it. You know you want to. There it is. It's staring. It's taunting you. It's saying, click this. And also subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you're new here, I don't blame you. You might be, subscription shy. That's okay. It's okay. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Just click it. Click it and stick it, you weirdo. Let's do this. All right, I'm here. Hold on.
Outside, it's packed.
Let's see. This switch and then this. See, it starts here now. There we go. Look at that. All right. What's happening? This is good people. How you doing, folks? Welcome to the show. Hold on one second. Weird overhead light. I don't need that anymore. Good to see you. Hello. What's shaking? There's a ghost in my studio. One moment. Can it be now? I'm fine. It's okay. Also, by the way, you asked for it, you got it. Even though it has some green in it, so it will not work perfectly with the stream key and all that kind of stuff. tonight, ladies and gentlemen, if I may, and I think that I might, a salute to Jerry Reed and the snowman, who, you know, his life would have turned out very differently if he'd have just gone over and picked up that load of manure. It would have been a shitty job, but still, there we go. Also, can we just take a moment to appreciate the talent of that man, and the fact that he wrote Eastbound and Down just because they were like, we need a song for the movie. And he's like, okay, just whip that shit out in a second, right? Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. We gonna do what they say can't be done. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. You know what? The first chorus is westbound and down. Did you ever notice that? That eastbound and down, the first chorus is westbound and down? Because they're going to Texarkana to pick up a load of Coors and drive it back east. So they're driving west first. Anybody? Yeah. Eastbound, just watch your bandit run. Yeah. Get your foot down on that pedal. You'll never mind them brakes. Let it all hang out because we got what it takes. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. It was just an old bootlegger story, like leftover bootlegger story. And by the way, Cannonball Run and the Smoking the Bandit. And I mean, there was like, what was the movie, The Corvette Summer? The movie that Mark Hamill was injured doing. Those were all movies. That was the public's reaction to the national 55 mile an hour speed limit. Just saying. Those movies were caused by that. Oh, I don't even have my headphones in. So 1 second. We got to get to clips. I got shit to do. Come on now. I got a voice for a country boy. Well, if I wanted a country career as a singer, I'd have it tomorrow afternoon. Because, I mean, one area where, my family is not connected in the entertainment world at all, except in bluegrass, which is not exactly a skyrocket to money. It was like the one album Dolly Parton lost money on. It was her bluegrass record, which is fantastic, by the way. Yeah. Oh, there's some good stuff today, Georgina, you bet. And we'll start with a couple of things. I also want to, let's see if I can bring this up because I found it earlier. Was it in my regular? Was it in a quick note? Where did I put it? Because it was in a strange little place. Was it reading stuff? Recent search. Recents. This is no? No, it wasn't there. I'll find it. Anyways, on Twitter, the transcription of that's awesome. The transcription of Trump in court is fucking hilarious. Oh, by the way, hi chat room. Where'd you guys go? Where in the world? What in the darnation is going on here? Oh, look, it's shrunk. That's really odd. Hold on. What the hell happened? What in the world is happening here? Okay, hold on. I'm moving. I don't want to move. I want to move you guys. Where'd you go? Quit it. That's just weird. Where'd they go? Where did my chat room go? They should be there. Hold on. Grab this. Take it down like this. All right. There's the window. What the ever-loving Lord Almighty is happening here? There's just a little bit of it. Okay. Sure. See if I can stretch this out. What the hell happened to that chat window? It's very weird. Let's see. Properties. That's the... Okay. That seems to be the right window. Okay. If I move it around, do I see where everything has gone? I'm literally Oh, there's... Oh. Hold on. Let me try to do this. What do I do? Scale, filtering, transform. Fit to screen. It's going to be a mess, but whatever. Oh my God. What the ever-loving hell? Yeah, I don't know. It just vanished. I got a good idea. How about this? Check this out. 3, 2, 1. I'll just fix shit. It's what I do. I'm going to get you guys in here if it, whether you like it or not. Okay, there's a and the and the shit. Where are you? We're all in this order. Apps, chat. Where did you go? Chat room. Where have you gone? Why have you run from me? Oh, there it is. Take this. Add source. Add. Excellent. Cool. And there you are. Look at that. And then I move you over to here. And then I shrink you down. Whoops. Get in here. Crazy. Take this. Like that. And then I put you behind the little window thing. Hey, look at that. And now I could turn off the emote wall because it's making up for stuff. I'll turn that on occasion, but whoo doggy. Now, look at that. I don't know where it went and why it went, but welcome back. Hi, chat room. Bless your hearts, you lovely folks. Yeah, don't feel bad about the shrinkage. It's not your fault. The weather's cold, and I'm not judging you. I blame the deep state. Thank you. Sorry you're late. Fuck Greg Abbott. Yeah, he's a gross person, and what do you expect? I mean, the cruelty is the point. But there's a lot of that going around. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. Let's jump straight. Is this foot? Yeah, it is. Hold on. Let's jump straight into our fuck around and find out files, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that's funny. Why would it be on this screen? Why? Look, it's you guys. Hi. There you are. All my screens have shuffled is apparently what's going on here. But we will go in here and we will pick this one. Nope, that's the other one. There you go. This one. Nope, that's the wrong one. How about this one? Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Ah, it's a fucking masterful. Yeah. Somebody's been screwing with my settings. Oh, it might have been that we had to turn the power off today because I had some electrical issues in the house. One that was kind of scary, I gotta say. One that's a little nervy. I'll tell you about it later. Everybody's fine. But like there's a gremlin in the electrical system of the house, and I'm like, this is the kind of gremlin that shit from This Is Us is made from. And since Summer is, for all practical purposes, an accidental witch, if she wishes for something, she gets it. I mean, she's been watching This Is Us, and I'm like, God damn it. And I'm going to be the last one out of the house. You know it. I'm just saying, hey, Anna Marie, thank you. Welcome. By the way, hit the like, everybody. Let everybody know we're here. That's one of the ways you send up a signal flare. The other thing you can also do, share the show. That would be lovely. That would be fantastic if you could share it out. So, anyways, all I need is a fucking loose wire in the wall with a nick in it that eventually starts a fire, and then I'm the one fucking carrying cats out and die of smoke inhalation later on. I'm fine. I'll be all right. But we got it looked into, and we're diverting the power that went to that particular device is moved to another line entirely. So hopefully that wire never sees energy again. The last season is crap. Well, I mean, it's all. I don't even know what's the last season. It's like watching Memento, and like I didn't like the beginning. Yeah. So okay. So Peter Navarro sentenced to 4 months in jail for contempt of Congress. Hallelujah. All right. Here we go. Oh, by the way, there's protesters out there. They've been dicking around with him this entire time, and apparently, they just blow whistles and shit and fuck with him. It's hilarious.
Constitutional issue. We've always understood that this case was going to have to be resolved at the D.C. Circuit. We've already noted.
No, you just recognized your client's guilty.
Our appeal, and we look forward to the opportunity to talk to the D.C. Circuit.
Yes, I'm sure you do. And I'm sure Peter Navarro does, because nobody wants to. No, nothing's better than really fighting in court and losing. Just so you could go try it again in front of people who go, okay, you were already found guilty. The fuck is, what's your point?
Look, I'd be happy to talk to some of the print media inside so that we're not harassed by these folks here.
Yeah, so, okay, there's a person with a cowbell. Well, cowbell. I mean, it's fantastic listening to this, you know, the one thing I've always said about a Peter Navarro, you know, press conference, yeah, is it needs more cowbell. Fantastic, you know. He puts on his prison suit just like everyone else, but, you know, and somebody's blowing a whistle. I thought there was actually a police siren that just went off magically at the same time, but they just got all kinds of sound effects because they're totally in fuck this guy mode.
But again,
fantastic. It's great. You know, who doesn't like cowbell? You know, you go to hell too. You go to hell too.
The important issue here is the central constitutional issue about the separation of powers and the integrity of President.
Of Mike Flynn getting found guilty of this, of basically similar shit, and it didn't save his ass, and he was the fucking, like, he was a general. Trump had to pardon him.
Decision making, and I have been caught
feel like
in a battle between two competing branches of government, and this is.
I feel like I should just add to this. What difference does it make? He's not going to say anything worth hearing anyways.
This is we're about halfway to resolving this case, so I appreciate this. I'm sorry for the video cameras that you can't get clean sound because of.
Also, by the way, the people recording them are getting clean sound anyways. And like, guess what, asshole? We know you want to do this all for video press, for assholes like Steve Bannon to make you a victim and all this shit, or people like me to make fun of you and therefore give you a little bit of a leg up in visibility and plead poverty and pity in front of fucking people. However, the print media is there. That's that lady with that phone right there. Most of the people who have mics out here are not from the networks. They don't give a shit. They've moved on. But the follow-up stories, the news actually is coming up with this. You know, they do want to hear your take and all this stuff, and they can hear just fine. They'll be able. They won't. Nobody typing this up will have in between all the words, and even if they did, you'd still be able to read them.
But this is what has happened to this country.
No, it's what's happening to you, dummy. None of us are getting fucking whistles and cowbells played whenever we're trying to talk everywhere. This is isolated to you, dumb fuck. You don't think you're the country, do you? Of course you do. You worked with Donald Trump.
And it's unfortunate that they won't respect my First Amendment rights here.
Okay. Yes, they will. That's their First Amendment up against yours. We can hear your words. We can hear your argument. It doesn't matter that they're fucking whistles. Freedom of speech is not freedom to promote or speak without interruption. If you want, here's a good idea. File a lawsuit about a violation of your freedom of speech rights because someone behind you was blowing a whistle while you were talking, while other people could hear every fucking word that came out of your mouth. And then you can lose even more money in court.
Defendpeter.com, please put that out on your stations.
Why? By the way, defendpeter.com, I gotta say, that sounds like an anti-OnlyFans site. It's like, isn't that a pro-masturbation site that attacks the Catholic Church? Sorry.
I'll walk in.
Navarro, can we give it a shot?
Do what?
Try to ask a question.
Not really, because
yeah, like there it is. There it is. My freedom of speech to not answer your questions. Listen to this dickhead.
Navarro, can we give it a shot?
Do what?
Try to ask a question.
Not really, because
we're all here.
Well, the problem is.
I think
Oh, it is picking up fine?
Yes, the microphones are picking you up fine. We can tell the difference between your speaking voice and the fucking whistle. Is it annoying? Yes. Can you not use it for some sort of like ad campaign? Perhaps. Maybe that's it. Maybe the idea that like they're violating your right to create some sort of like legal defense fund ad to run on your site without having to dub what you fucking said later, which you can do on an iPhone now, so fuck off. But the press that's there understands every word you could say. And by the way, if you've been through a court case like this, dude, you can recite your argument at this rate to the point where you've been sentenced to 4 months. You can recite your argument while a jet is landing on an aircraft carrier behind you, dragging tin cans.
All right, I'm going to let my colleagues.
This is not the little
My colleagues, guys.
Wait. In between the line of, I'm going to introduce my colleague, I suppose the conductor from Silver Streak has decided to chime in with, if I heard this correctly, this is not the Little Dick Playground. Now, I don't know where they're located in D.C., and I don't know if that's the official name of that square, but let's hear it again.
I'm going to let my colleagues.
This is not the little
My
dick
colleagues,
playground.
Yep, that was the quote. Hey, this is not the Little Dick Playground. Well, all right, good, okay. Well, at least that helps us zone in on where we are specifically. Excuse me, sir, since you seem to be an expert, where precisely is the Little Dick Playground? Because I gotta say, it sounds like something Lindsey Graham would be interested. I'm sorry. Hey. This is not the Little Dick Playground. That is not a sentence I thought I'd hear today. I know some of you are like, I'm surprised it's not something you said, Hal. That's like something you throw in for the fuck around. But nope. Man on the street. And that's, folks, that's what freedom of speech is all about. That's the that's the true meaning. That's what the founding fathers had in mind.
Let's not answer that question.
You look nervous, Peter.
Is there a reason you don't want to answer any questions? We can hear you just fine.
4 months, bro.
All right, so,
I think
yes, sir.
The question we have is,
Sure.
it speaks for itself. Are you expecting or hoping for a pardon from Donald Trump in 2025?
No, I'm not expecting or hoping for that. That's not an issue. I do believe President Trump will win the White House in 2025.
But he's going to leave you hanging because I know why. Because you're going to wait in line behind all the Jan Sixers.
What's important to me, sir, and it's always been important to me.
Yes, the most important thing is that Bessie get some hay as soon as possible. I would...
is the underlying constitutional issue associated with that. I would say that my standing up on this matter, we've already achieved an important victory. The Department of Justice attorneys, after pressure
She's just not fucking around. She's just letting that fucking whistle blow.
from not just from my defense team, but also from the judge himself, finally acknowledged that senior presidential advisors, such as myself, cannot be compelled to testify.
Yes, they can. They can. He didn't exert executive privilege, dumb fuck. It would be super easy. It would be super fucking easy. When all this shit went down, the president should have, he could have, and even in post-presidency, he could have made the case. You know, I believe we were talking in confidence. I'm invoking executive privilege on, my time in office over that. Of course, that's a possibility. Trump didn't. He could have, but he just decided not to. He decided, fuck you.
They've acknowledged that they would not prosecute in that case. So there's very much a constitutional disconnect here.
No, there isn't. The separation of powers does not mean that the Congress has control over the White House or the White House has control over Congress, or that nobody talks to anybody and nobody, the responsibility of their actions is singular to their own. Like, the fuck out of here. This would be the argument, I guess, for why, like, the Congress and the White House can't do anything about Clarence Thomas. It the shit.
So the important mission here is to settle good law in an area.
Good law. Good law. Hey. This is not the Little Dick Playground,
Where there is nothing now but mostly a vacuum. Remember, please.
There's nothing now but mostly a vacuum. Okay, the bell and the whistle are definitely getting to him. That made no sense.
I am the first person ever charged with this crime in the history.
Yeah, because everybody else testified, you dumb motherfucker. Everybody else recognized it was a reasonable threat and went before Congress. Or the president that they served with invoked executive privilege for them, so they didn't have to. Fuck off. Jesus Christ. Yes, you're the only person dumb enough to fight this fight. You can, and again, you can go down there and go, I honestly believe that, you can testify and say, I honestly believe this falls under executive privilege. I do not feel comfortable talking about this, and I'm going to assume executive privilege, and just let it be on the record that that's how you feel. And then they'll have to bring Trump in, which is why he's fucking throwing himself under the bus. Have to bring Trump in and go, do you invoke executive privilege over this particular thing? Which is, to Trump's mind, the same thing as pleading the fifth, and he'll go, yeah, sure, I guess. Why didn't you at the time? Well, because we didn't do anything wrong. And I told him this, and he told me this, and I told him this, and I told him this, and his lawyers will be sitting in the back going, shut the fuck up!
You're a Republican, the first senior White House advisor ever charged, and
somebody's bringing up the fact that, Trump's sexual abuse charge.
What my defense team has beautifully done
is lose? Is recommend you fucking fight this and pour money down their gullet and out their fucking assholes while you go to jail for 4 months for fucking nothing? Here's the thing. Look, if you believe this is a righteous fucking fight, and this is the advice I would have given to Lenny Bruce back in the day, do the time. If you're going to be vindicated later, you probably get out in fucking, with a 4-month sentence, you probably get out in 3 fucking days anyways. Do the time. It's not like you're going to be applying for a job 5 years from now and they're going to go, hey, weren't you that guy? You're all over the fucking news. Well-known defendants are in a totally different fucking category. You don't believe me? Look at all the fucking domestic violence against, like athletes and shit like that. Those guys aren't worried about a conviction about that shit. And then they race right back out and start playing again. Nobody cares as long as they're winning. The same thing is true of this kind of politics. You think Donald Trump gives a fuck if anybody in his cabinet is a felon? He doesn't give a shit.
In cooperation with the court, has set up a roadmap for all future prosecution. As I said, in the courtroom today, I am not just the first person who's ever been charged with this, I will be the last person.
Right. That's hopefully, hey, asshole, that's how courts making an example of someone is supposed to fucking work. Everybody up until you knew this was serious. And you were like, fuck off, it's not serious. Nobody's going to do anything about this. There's no laws in this country. I work for Donald Trump. This doesn't apply to me. And then they were like, you're the first person to ever take it that far. You lost. And now everybody else who probably wouldn't have even needed this example to not break the fucking law, will now know, oh shit, yeah, I guess you can't throw people in jail for that. No, I'm not doing that shit. Mr. President, I'm gonna need you to invoke executive privilege, or I'm gonna have to talk to these assholes. According to my lawyers. Why? Because there's case law, you dumb motherfucker.
Because of the roadmap we have established.
The roadmap you've established. Yes. Don't drive down that road. Don't drive down that road. That's what your roadmap is. Dead end. No outlet. It leads right to the small deck playground, and no one wants to be there.
Hey, Peter.
So, yeah.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
If these commies behind us are going
Well, in effect, they're not taking turns ringing the bell. They're doing it individually and stuff. And I don't know. I don't see evidence that they're commies. These commies. Only commies hate people who work for and continue to dress like a guy with 27 credible sexual assault allegations against him, who's in jail right now for defaming one of his victims. Commies. Why don't you just call them out for being the deep state?
to keep on banging around so you can't have a straight thought or be able to answer?
I don't think it's having an impact. I got to be honest. Objection, Your Honor. Presents facts not stated. States facts not presented in evidence. No, I don't see it. Any evidence whatsoever that he can put together a straight thought. I've done videos on this motherfucker when he's been on Bannon's show and when he was on Fox and stuff like that. I've seen him putting thoughts together. It ain't a pretty sight.
A question
I'm fine.
with some thought?
These cameras
Go ahead and-
actually pick it up. I'll take it.
That's a microphone. I understand. Some people get confused. It's a lot of techno mumbo jumbo. The thing that takes your picture, that would be the camera, and the thing covered in fuzz is a microphone. And also, it would, if it was a camera, it'd be a very odd shot. It just wouldn't read well. Be a little dark. I don't know how you fix that in post. I don't recommend putting a pop filter over your lens in general.
With some thought?
These cameras actually pick it up.
I mean, that's fucking dead on. I mean, that's right up there with Nikki Haley. These cameras, I want one of these cameras. This is the kind of camera, you want to use if you're doing business. This is as cameras go. Hold on, I'm gonna talk into this microphone. Hello? I'm sorry. Hello? These cameras.
Take it.
The House January 6th election is accused of deleting more than 100 files, encrypted files connected to the January 6th. Are you
Oh, right. This is all like Jan 6 deleted over 100 files or whatever. It's all online. And they deleted stuff they didn't use. Because the whole point is not to just maintain. If you interview someone and their interview is not germane to what you're talking about, and it's not exculpatory, and it's not a fucking legal situation anyway, so they can call those people back in. If somebody if the deposition was taken and they didn't save it, they can bring the person back in, ask them the same fucking questions. Presumably they're going to give the same fucking answers, right? Yeah. So the point is, you don't just get to keep the information and the words of everybody you interviewed in one of these things in perpetuity, especially if they didn't have anything to do with it, or they were, or they were found not culpable, not guilty, not aligned with it. That's the problem that the Republicans have, because that's the fantasy of the exculpatory video evidence from Jan 6. Same shit. There's video showing me that it's going, I'm just kidding, in that they cut out after I was saying I'm going to shoot Nancy Pelosi, and when I was helping build the gallows, and where I said I knew the bomber personally, then they left out the part where I was like, psych,
concerned that any of these files might have some exculpatory evidence to your
I have no comment. This
I'm guessing we're about to hear a comment.
issue is simply about the constitutional separation of powers, executive privilege, and
which Donald Trump did not invoke on your behalf. He had every opportunity to, and he basically hung up on you. Let me put it to you this way, dumb fuck. Let's just say that during the transition or in the early days of a White House, putting their staff together, and they bring in some people, like you have a mixed White House as far as staffs and people going on, like Reagan and Bush when they were together. Okay, when they were, and remember, Bush ran against him, and there was this idea that they put Bush with Reagan. He didn't particularly like him, and all this stuff. So you got these mixed groups, and Bush being former head of the CIA and all that kind of shit back in the 60s, like I think it was 69, something like that. That you're having issues with his staff, and he brings in somebody, and that person walks right up to Ronald Reagan and says, the vice president put me in charge of this one thing. So I just ordered the assassination of somebody in I don't know, in the Sudan or something like that, or some warlord or whatever. Just kill him. I took care of it. And the president goes, "You did fucking what?" Like, oh yeah, we had this talk about, we need to be more proactive on stuff. So I just took that and I called down to the Joint Chiefs and stuff, and since the vice president in this in this kind of murky area of the transition, I was kind of in charge of that. So I just make it Zimbabwe. Okay, there you go. That I just ordered a strike on this guy in Zimbabwe because we already had people in the theater, and and at that level we don't have to declare anything. So I just did that, and I just I just said it straight from you because I figured it's what you wanted because I'd been talking to the vice president and we had that meeting about being proactive. And the president goes, "Are you out of your fucking mind? I didn't order that. That's illegal. Fuck you." And then they throw the guy out. He is brought before Congress because this becomes a scandal. The president hides it because he doesn't want this kind of shit in the opening. Like, wait a minute, the vice president brought this fucker in and he ordered a hit and and he laid it off on me. And so he hides it. And so years later, they bring this dumb fuck out and they charge him for it. He goes, "I said that in confidence to the president of the United States. That's covered by executive privilege." The president is not saying this. The president, at this point, may be out of office going, "Yeah, fuck that guy. He did do that thing, and we just didn't have a way to address it or even tell if it was directed from his thing. I don't recall." Some rando way of distancing himself, but he didn't call it, right? And that guy says, "I want protection for what I said to the president, even though I committed a crime. I admitted to a crime. I took steps that were beyond my the duties of my office and all this stuff. But since I said it to the president, every word said between the president and me is executive privilege, even if he doesn't agree with what I'm fucking saying." And he calls me out as a criminal in that moment. It's just dumb. Yes, that's right. It was a great one. Greg in the chat room says he's asking for advisor privilege. There's no such fucking thing. That's why the president gives you that. That's why the president argues this point. Why the president determines that the conversation was protected.
and the integrity of presidential decision-making. And this
Okay, first of all, that there was any integrity in Donald Trump's decision-making is hilarious.
is a principle that goes back to the days of George Washington.
Right. But again, in the days of George Washington, it was, quite frankly, the founding fathers who put in place this idea that the president answers to the people. He's not a king. He can actually be tried for crimes. We live in a democracy, not in a monarchy, so fuck you. And you're just not automatically protected by some sort of mafia whisper campaign just because you're in the Oval Office. There is a fucking standard.
So anyway, write your stories well. I appreciate.
They will. Yeah. Thanks for gluing them in. And also, what the fuck is this kind of weird? Isn't that De Niro's character in that movie when they showed him as a little kid? Don't they do that at the death of a mafia guy?
Appreciate it. I've got a big fight ahead of me. I've got
Yeah, you got a shitty one behind you.
great folks behind me.
Well, the lady with the bell, yeah, and the whistle.
DefendPeter.com, please. DefendPeter.com.
See, I'm afraid to look that up. I'm not going to do it without safe search on. That's for goddamn sure.
Help me raise the money in order to fight this battle. Thank you.
Why can't you ask Trump? Yeah, Bronx Tale. That's right, Leah.
Yeah.
And an argument that you and others have used before is that, with executive privilege comes...
I gotta tell you, with both of those sounds going on at the .com, somebody goes to defendpeter.com. That just seems, I was about to say wrong, but you know what? I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum. You guys know that. That the sound of the cowbell and the whistle going at the same time, I don't know whether I feel like I'm back on the farm or the heavy part of Paradise City is about to start.
When a president is performing their presidential duties, correct? But the defense that...
Trapped in the chair of the city gas chamber, while I'm here again, quite remember. See what I mean?
Trump has been using is that will keep...
Sorry.
...the campaign. So is it that you were helping...
Yeah, we'll save that one for arguing in the appeal. I'm not going to get into the minutia of that here. Anyway, thanks for.
Why don't you go on War Room and explain
coming out? Well, at least we had some decent weather here, and
what the fuck? What? I'm sorry. You're mad because the sun isn't shining on the day you've been sentenced to 4 months in jail for. By the way, for the very reason that people are trying to get Hunter Biden thrown in jail, you think you don't realize that the Republicans are letting you go to jail on this and are hanging you out to fucking dry on the presumption that they were going to be able to get Hunter Biden on this. And then he decided he'd give the testimony. You're like, whoops.
Unfortunately, we'll see you again. Bye.
Good luck, Peter.
The dude in the fucking, that cap is fucking amazing. I just want him to be my trolley car operator. But he said, "Good luck, Peter." And I guess truth. Oh, he's the truth conductor. That's okay. All right, sure. The truth conductor. Next stop, Little Dick Town or Little Dick Playground. Last stop for Little Dick Playground. Nobody's getting off at Little Dick Playground. Sorry, I walked right into that one and I apologize. What an idiot. Okay. I mean me. All right, we're fine. We're fine. Next stop, Little Dick Playground. I want to see this guy walking. Yeah. You're about to get, like, that sounds like a threat that guy would make. You're about to get off at Little Dick Playground. What? I'm about to what? That came out wrong. That's what he said. Somebody call the fucking cops. Impersonating a conductor. He just left. The officer is, yeah, dressed like a guy from a pack of bubblegum. Good luck. You can't say Little Dick Playground and Good Luck Peter in the same conversation. You can't do that. Oh, who knew? Who knew we would have so much joy and pleasure, joy and fun? Pop in there, folks. So kick in there, chat. Come on, there we go. Get back up there. I've got to, let's see. Open that up and make sure it does not. show. Okay, I'll do something like that, I guess. Go to TTV, most enable to make the font size a little bigger. Oh, God. See if this comes in. Sorry. Uncommon chatbots. Okay. That's a little better. There you go. Look at you guys. Mm-hmm. Okay, and leave that up. Now we go. All right. Close. And then off we go. Okay, excellent. Now that should settle it. Hey, look at that. What a big chat we have here today, if I do say so my damn self. Is the jacket red and black? Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, I made it myself. I had this, I had two black, just regular kind of Levi denim jackets, black denim jackets, and I didn't need to. So I went to Michael's and I got some red fabric paint, and I just did the sleeves up to the collars, and I did the back, and then I left the front black. It was just a choice. I was just messing around, just designing some stuff. Yeah? You're still hearing cowbells and whistles? I'm sorry, Pamela. It's going to be with you. It's an earworm, I got to say. It's got a nice beat, and you can dance to it. Yeah. I'm totally upcycling. Absolutely. I'm an artiste. I'm crafty. I wouldn't say that. And believe me, it's, I like going to Michael's, but it's sad that Hobby Lobby's got to be so dickish. Yeah, I thought the style-wise it worked pretty well. And I'm going to get another can of it, get some black jeans, and do stripes down the sides of it. Yep. I think that's a good way to go. Yeah. And then I'm going to invest in a bedazzler. Venmo! So he said, how can you explain what? Sorry, can you explain the Republican what? Explain how the Republicans lost the issue of the border. Oh, it's hilarious. Oh, yes. Well, the Biden administration and Democrats have painted Republicans into a corner, and apparently they've just decided to stay there, stomp and cry. And so right now, if they vote for the immigration bill, they take away their talking point and they give Biden a win. If they don't vote for the border bill, they take away their talking point and they give Biden a campaign issue. Just glorious. Just glorious. And remember, Republicans care more about letting Vladimir Putin expand his borders than they do about protecting our own. Yes. I also put this patch on there myself too. These are, I had this like company that makes like little raised ones or whatever, and I ironed it on there. I was very nervous because it looks like it's gonna melt. It was gonna melt because it's kind of rubbery, but it's supposed to iron. I was like, okay. Yeah. What about Ukraine? Ukraine's doing fine. Ukraine needs weapons, but they're gonna get it. And also, the president has the ability to give them gear we don't use anymore, or gear that's been replaced by better gear. And we've got a shit ton of it. It's going to be okay. Also, part and parcel to giving them the Patriot batteries is giving them more missiles, or being able to backfill the missiles that go with them. Believe me, they're going to get plenty. And also, they can get other munitions through the other NATO countries that we give that to, because we have these other relationships. And Donald Trump's whole thing about making sure everybody pays up and they're all a part of it, it was ironically enough, he created the system that's in place for us to supply NATO allies with stuff that they, in turn, give to Ukraine. Ukraine is still going to get help. Ukraine is still going to win. They broached the border again on Russia last Thursday. No, today's Thursday. Last Tuesday, 2 days ago. I don't know why I thought it was Saturday. I think because Boston Brian is going to be our guest on the first hour Saturday morning on the radio show, which is fucking fantastic. And along with Johnny Million. And then Phil Ittner will be joining us in the second hour. And we'll be talking specifically about Ukraine. We didn't get a chance to talk to him on this Wednesday because I did Bob Seska's show. Go check out his show. It's fantastic. Super fun. Now, welcome to Dumbquat. So this is, Don Jr.'s popularity is collapsing when Eric is getting more of the defense gigs. Chris, happy birthday. It's your 50th. That's a good one. My 55th is this year, and this is a big year for me. 55 is very big. I'm not saying that 3 psychics and a witch have all told me that my 55th year is the shit. When I turn 55, that's when things kick off again, because everything goes in cycles. I'm not saying that. I'm just reiterating it. But yeah, so 50's great. I'm a big fan. That was great. I'm still in Project 50, although it's Project 50s now. Yeah, good stuff. All right. So, all right, Eric. I've seen this headline, this right here. The media is absolutely petrified. I've seen this, and I think CSL has seen this on like 7 different clips. Like, this is a talking point they workshopped. The media is petrified. I guess that they have to deal with Donald Trump, or that Donald Trump's going to be the guy, or that he's going to give them what for, or some bullshit. I mean, I think on the one hand, there are a lot of women in media, and there are a lot of men who respect women in media. That might surprise you, but it's true. And those folks, in general, don't like the idea of having to talk about a sexual pig like Donald Trump all the time. Yeah, CSL, isn't it? It's just like, it's this weird recurring theme. It's also lame and stupid, but it's one of those things like, they're quaking in their boots. Also, they need me for the fucking ratings.
Here with reaction from the Trump Organization. Eric Trump is with us.
Oh, Sean's still hanging out with Trump. He's still wearing that circus peanut orange base.
You know, there hasn't been, well, first of all, in Iowa, there's never been a person that won by a larger margin.
With a lower turnout. Dude, don't fucking brag on percentages when you shit the bed. Half the Republicans are against him. And that includes everybody who stayed home. Either they stayed home because they were like, fuck it, I don't care. Or I'm for somebody else, but they're not going to win, so fuck it, I don't care. You done, son?
Then Bob Dole, which was 1988, and that margin, I think, was 12.8%.
Right, because there were a lot of people running, and there was a sensible Republican Party in theory at that time. And they were primarying their own fucking guy. That was during Reagan. Or sorry, that was during Reagan into Bush. That was 88, right? Is that what he said? 88?
Bob Dole, which was 1988, and that...
Yeah, so that was when they were... Like, the vice president was going to roll into, and they were doing this whole, like, 16 years, right? We're going to roll on for 16 years, 8 years of Reagan and 8 years of Bush. And a bunch of these motherfuckers were like, no, it's my turn. So they started elbowing him out of the way.
Margin, I think, was 12.8%. Your father won by 30 points in Iowa.
Right. Do I really want to go? Do we really have to go and look at the fucking vote turnout at the Iowa caucuses in 1988? Do we really? You want to see how many more people came out for all these different fucking folks? Trump got 5,000 more people after already being president for 4 fucking years. He got 5,000 more people than Ted Cruz did in 2016.
Your father comes back and does something that hasn't been done since 1976. He wins Iowa, then
shit himself on live television. Anybody? I mean, what is it? What was the big thing that they haven't done since basically nobody wanted to have anything to do with the Republican Party because of Nixon? You mean, are you going back to that?
Goes on to win New Hampshire, and he wins it by double digits.
I agree. I'm a dope.
In a state, frankly, whose system of voting in primaries I don't like. I don't like open primaries. Republicans should elect Republican candidates, in my view. Democrats should elect Democratic candidates.
Yeah, you don't give a fuck when the rat fucking goes the other way. Hey, you know why? Hey, Sean, come here. First of all, people have been rat fucking both directions in the New Hampshire primary for a long time. Again, switching parties or not listing a party affiliation, that kind of stuff, for a long time. You know why none of the Trump people tried to like go the other way and give Dean Phillips a lift, even though he showed up at a fucking Trump rally trying to get some people to do just that. Like, hey, your guy's going to win anyways, so come over to my side and help me get a ridiculous number of votes that I didn't earn, and try to as an attack on Joe Biden. He literally went there and tried to get that, right? You know why they didn't? Because believe me, dude hired Roger Stone. You don't think You think somehow he's above the idea of rat fucking in the New Hampshire primary? No. You know why they didn't do it? Because they couldn't afford to lose anybody. They were too afraid. They were like, what happens? What if Nikki Haley wins? And I went over and did that. I was rat fucking over there trying to mess with the Democrats, and then she fucking beats Trump. They couldn't afford to. Yeah, it's a little sad when Trump's on such shaky ground. These assholes can't even rat fuck like they used to. And by the way, I didn't make up that term. That's been around for a long time. Rat fucking is sort of like two, like I guess there's two primary ways of looking at it. One is in that cross vote in open primaries and that kind of stuff, and intentionally voting across the aisle to try and mess with them because you feel like, okay, we're secure, so let's go throw the vote around on the other side in these open primaries and the like. Or, ordering tons of pizzas to a campaign headquarters, and then they used to be back in the day, you'd owe money for all the pizzas, and you're like, oh, I think somebody ordered all these pizzas for the volunteers. They'd pay for them, and they didn't have enough money to do their printing for that week because they got fucking, they would do it again and again and again. Right. Yeah. The Nixon's plumbers definitely was a giant rat fucking exercise. Probably the most egregious American on American version. I mean, like you can argue that, Russia is just the Russian word for rat fucking these days. So
you can't deny these are historic results for your father.
Yeah, you can. You just look at the actual numbers versus the percentages and recognize that percentages can be indicative of a lot of different things. If cases of spontaneous combustion worldwide are up 1,000%, and people go, oh my God, how many were that? We're like, well, they had one suspected case last year, so we have 10 suspected cases this year. Yeah, 10. We had 10, but we don't. 10. One suspected case, and then 10 more suspected, 9 more suspected cases. So 10. Yeah.
There's no question about that, Sean. Frankly, that's exactly what.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions.
Why the mainstream media is so petrified of him. It's why they go on and, do the clips that you just showed right there. They're petrified of him.
Oh, they play the clips of him saying Nikki Haley 20 times. You mean Sean just played that in front of you right before you came on? I gotta say, I'm beginning to think they don't really like you, Eric.
He won the largest margin ever.
Statistical margin. How about turnout? How many people? He got 10%. Yeah, he got. Was it? Yeah, 5% more than 10 crews. Yeah. Because I look at it was like 56,000 something.
In a primary in Iowa, as you just said, the largest margin ever in New Hampshire. He received the most votes in a primary ever in the history of New Hampshire. And by the way, he's beating Biden in every single national poll.
No.
Many of them by 10, 11, 12.
No.
Some 15%.
No.
The media is absolutely petrified.
Not really. I gotta say, I'm not petrified at all. I mean, I understand. Look, I understand everybody blowing past the story that he purchased a poll for $1.5 million with his campaign, and he's doing what's effectively push polling at this point to try and edge out Nikki Haley because they looked at the real internals and they're kind of fucked. Yeah, Biden won New Hampshire by 65%, and Trump won it by what, 12%? Was it ultimately 12? Like he just cleared. Single digits.
My father is the greatest guy in the world. He wants.
Hey, I'm glad. Hey, it's terrific when any son thinks that. I don't believe you.
He wants strong borders. He wants a great economy.
Well, then why did he just leave us alone? And why did he just talk the Republicans out of voting for the border bill?
He wants a strong military. He doesn't.
Just for Vladimir Putin. I mean, he didn't say where. I give him credit. I would assume, and you would assume, of course, that when he says he wants a strong military, he's talking about the U.S. military. And I don't know. I don't take that for granted.
I want to see this country go into World War III. He's sick and tired of
World War III.
The games. He's sick and tired of the nonsense. And
all of the nonsense? He's sick and tired of the nonsense? Wait a minute. Is this breaking news? Eric Trump, hashtag Donald Trump is sick. Also tired. Film at 11. Also. Hold on. I apologize. I should have warned you. Oh. It's not good. Beware of Wawa 3. And there you go. Oh, God.
I think the enthusiasm, Sean, that we're seeing all over the place, these massive turnouts is
these massive turnouts. You mean the half-filled gymnasiums?
The American people who want our country back. They're tired of the worst president in the history of this country by far, hands down. It's not even close.
Okay.
They want a strong guy back in the.
Yeah, they want a strong guy, a strong guy who knows who Nancy Pelosi is.
The White House, and that's exactly what my father will do, and that's exactly who my father is.
Well, I'm glad as his son, you know who he is. That's some sons can't say that.
You know, you look at, for example, the media. This is now one caucus, one primary in. And here you got Joe Biden. He lies and says the border's secure and the border's closed. That's not true. It's never been true since he's been president. We can see it with our own eyes.
No, you can't. Here's a good idea, Sean. You're on every fucking night. Talk to somebody at Customs and Border Patrol and have them post find a local Fox affiliate, dole out some fucking cash from your $30 million a year salary, and have somebody stand down there with a camera every day, during the hour of your show. Just send an affiliate down there. We're on border watch. Pick the worst crossing point. Oh, look, all my signs came up. That's funny. Did I click on the wrong one? Oops, sorry. Go up there. Go send somebody down there that you can cut to. Here's a live feed of the fucking border. Pick the worst fucking spot. Do it. Every day. Don't show singular compilations or one shots of where a particular group came across that are being processed. People that aren't like, I want to see, if Mr. fucking Open Borders, I want to see people just fucking scattering and CBP guys going, fuck, they're getting away like all day, all night. Because that's what an open border, or just sitting there not doing fucking anything, I guess, right? Is that the argument, that Customs and Border Patrol is just letting people in?
Brags about Bidenomics. 60% of Americans now live paycheck to paycheck.
No, they don't. 60% of Americans do not now live paycheck to paycheck. First of all, Republicans making over $200,000 a year now say that they feel like they're working paycheck to paycheck. That does not mean they are working paycheck to paycheck. It means they don't like Joe Biden, and they won't say they feel great about the economy until Trump gets back in, even though it's going to cost them money. Secondly, Marianne Williamson recently brought up this 65% of Americans don't have $500 for an emergency. Never mind the fact that the original quote, if you'll recall, for a long time, the story was $400 for an emergency. Now the emergency has to cost them $500 before they have to call mom, borrow some money, or put it on a credit card. The other thing is that the company that does that study, the company that puts out that study, that most 65% of Americans cannot handle a $500 emergency. You know the company that does that? You know what they do for a living? They do polls, Hal. Of course they do. They're a focus group, right? That's what they do. They just ask people questions, and they don't sell anything. They're just there. You know what that company actually does? Where he got that statistic, and where Marianne Williamson quoted it, because I saw it in the fucking article she was referencing. You know what they sell? They sell emergency savings accounts to giant companies to provide for their employees, to sock away a portion of your employees' money in a savings account on their behalf. That's what they do. That company that tells that story, that most Americans, 65% of Americans, according to them, can't afford a $500 emergency, sells emergency savings accounts to giant corporations that the company on your behalf takes $10 out of your fucking, makes it mandatory, puts $10 out of your fucking like hourly wage every week or every day or whatever, however it's arranged, into an account so they can sit on it. And that company and the company you work for make interest on it. I'm not kidding. Yeah, it's like a 401k, but in cash. It's a liquid 401k. Now, what do you think happens when a giant company signs a contract with this company that's telling them that most of your employees cannot afford a $500 emergency without borrowing from a friend, putting it on a credit card, dipping into savings, all that kind of shit. Like basically they're like, they have to have it in their pocket right now. You have $500 on you right now if there was an emergency? No, I'd have to go get it out of savings or something. Okay, well then you can't. That literally, that's the qualification. Not you don't have it and it's nowhere to be found. Honestly. So what these guys want to do is sell this to a company the size of Target, Amazon, or whatever. What do you think happens to $500 for every employee, mandatory, maintained in this savings account that you can draw out? But if you draw out the $500, they start refilling it with your paycheck again afterwards, right? What do you think happens? They loan that money out. They gain interest on it just sitting there. The company keeps the interest for maintaining this and fees and all that other shit. And then they become like an accidental bank holding $500 for every employee across a swath of industries. It's a fucking scam. The fact that, and that's the root of that story. That's where that statistic came from. I hear it quoted all the fucking time. And you can deal with the fact that people need money. Exactly, Peter. Apparently, 40% of Americans, 35% of Americans have $500 on them at any given time. Or a debit card they can immediately take. They can take out more than $400 on at any given time. That's the difference. 35% would do it comfortably. Right. If you can borrow $500, they consider that you not being able to handle it. Even if you choose to borrow it, even if you're like, well, I have the cash, but I could put it on a credit card and pay it off right now. If you do that, that means you're one of the 65% that cannot handle a $500 emergency, which is patently false. Right? And there's a difference. Yeah, Kayana, that's what they're arguing, is that, that people spend too much. So they sell this statistic to corporations and try to get the corporations to act on your behalf. That's it.
He lies. I never once spoke to my son, my brother, or anybody about their foreign business deals, and he's up to his eyeballs in it.
Nope. Bring up a piece of paper. Where does anybody that they've had as a witness say he's talked to his son about his foreign business deals? Where's that testimony? Saying hi to somebody's fucking partner or something is not being up to your eyeballs in this. If your son is a recovering drug addict, you bet your fucking ass I'm going to know who's hanging around him. That's the other thing, too. Never mind the fact, if you've heard the voicemail where, Biden was worried about Hunter, never mind just a dad or a parent dealing with a child with an addiction and everybody dropping dead from fucking fentanyl and all that kind of shit. Like the fear that any parent who's got a child who's an addict or a regular user right now it's terrifying, because they may have a maintenance dose. They may be sort of a conscientious user, but they get the wrong pill or get sold something they think is something else, they could die. It's really fucking scary. You may not get a chance to say goodbye to them. And imagine they get over that hump. They manage to get out of it. They're not using it anymore. They're in NA or AA or both, right? And you're like, oh, fucking hang in there. Don't. Because people, sometimes the worst is when they fall off the wagon and they go get, whatever's available nearby, and it's not their regular dealer and all that kind of shit. That's how Philip Seymour Hoffman died. It's fucking horrible. You don't think, as a parent, you lost one child to brain cancer, and your other kid was an addict, you don't think you're going to know who's hanging around him? Dude, I got to say, it's probably a violation of the law. But if I was vice president or even a senator, I'd probably tap somebody on the shoulder at the FBI and go, hey, man, this dude's hanging around my son. You run his fucking tags for me? Who the fuck is this guy? I don't want to scare my son off and make him, not responsive because he's an addict and it worries me.
For what time?
Cancel. I don't know why.
You don't have any alarms.
Okay. I don't know why she wanted to talk to me. I guess something I said sounded like that. Yeah. You're goddamn right I would. I'd probably get in trouble for that. This is going to come back to haunt me when I run for office. You fucking ain't right. I'm going to know the name of everyone around. It doesn't mean I want to do business with him. Doesn't mean I want to interject myself in his friendships or his relationships. But you're fucking ain't right. I'm going to know. Yeah, the deep state is following me. She's part of this deep state. I don't want to say her name again because she'll wake up. There we go. Yeah, Biden lost his infant daughter and his first wife. Their Hunter's mother and his sister. And then he lost his brother. Like, fucking hell, man. I would almost think it would be like parental malpractice if you've had a son that's been through that kind of shit, to not keep an eye on who's around him. I mean, especially if you're in office, then this might be the dude who gives your son the dose that kills him. The fuck out of here. I would almost say, like, I don't need to know your business. I don't know what, as a matter of fact, I can't. But who's there? Him, and him? Okay, cool. Let me write all those fucking names down. Okay, see you later. I don't need to look until I need to look. Right? That sounds pretty logical. And chat room, let me know. Chat room, please. People in the chat room, let me know. If you had a child who was an addict and they managed to get out of it, wouldn't you be more than normally, you'd normally be curious about who they were hanging out with while they were trying not to fall off the wagon? For real. All Joe Biden, Hunter Biden story aside, you as a human being. Jesus, you goddamn right. Holy fuck. Like, as a parent, there's a certain thing. Look, I think a lot of parents are rough on their teenagers because they white knuckle the tender years. They're so worried about the child being hurt or dying or falling off of something or breaking something or eating the wrong thing or, all that shit. Like, my son's 12 and I'm still, I don't know when that ever goes away. Maybe it never does, but I still white knuckle his existence most of the time. And it's subtle and it moves maybe to the back of your psyche because you couldn't operate if you always did it. But as a parent, I'm sorry, Alvin. My God, right? It's always there. It never goes away. I thought so, Hinda. And I honest to God, I wouldn't expect it to, nor would I want it to particularly. I think at some point and not for reasons that I worry about my son doing stuff, but that the world is a big messy place, right? And imagine you lost your daughter and then one of your sons and your wife, their mother, and one of their sons, and you only have one adult child left. And he is using drugs at a time when the biggest story you hear is they were just doing this, they do this all the time, and then they got the wrong thing from their dealer or somebody else, and then they died. That's all you hear. I mean, the last fucking, I'd say 12 years especially, as fentanyl has grown. Woof. So, no, yeah. Oh, thanks, Palmbird. I appreciate that, and congratulations for being 30 years sober. I am, for those that don't know, I am whatever my age, month, and day is right now. I am entirely that sober. I have never had a drink. I have never done drugs. I am never going to. But I have lost friends to drugs. I have lost friends to alcohol, and it just every time that groove in that record gets fucking deeper every time. And all I can hope is that by the, that I can kind of stiff arm and as much of life away from my son as I possibly can. And the idea, he's got a half sister. Like I'm not in her life, but I'm aware of her so much that even the heartbreak he would go through, I'm protective of her. Right? So the idea that he was up to his eyeballs in his son's business, fucking, if my son was a recovering addict, I'd be up to my fucking eyeballs in his goddamn business too. It wouldn't be because I'm in business with him. No parent has $500 to spare. I'll agree to that. Because if you got a kid, you're going to need it at some point. So, anyways, back to our the ridiculousness
and yet,
of whatever
here we have
whatever passes for this fucking situation.
A caucus and a primary. Your dad's giving a speech, a victory speech, and fake news CNN wants to fact check him in real time. MSDNC wants to do the same after.
And you guys ran it without interruption?
After they were excoriated for not even taking a single word of your father's speech. That's NBC News. Now, what is your reaction to that part of it? Because we took your dad's speech. It was in my hour, in this hour, and we ran the whole thing. So people.
Well, that's because you were just vaping in the background. Yeah. How much money did you make for this show on that? Good Lord. I'm dead serious. Hold on. How much does? Let's see. Let me introduce this guy. Shh. Yeah, I'm shocked that. Yeah, there we go. Hold on. Whoop, quit it. Yeah, Sean. So here's if I may. Well, here, I'll grab this down here, bring it over to here. You think you find it? I don't find it weird that Sean Hannity would in any opportunity he has on his show to just coast through a night of programming and let it run, of course he's going to fucking do it. Why wouldn't he? He's worth $250 million. He makes $45 million a year. You think this motherfucker knows, like, is a man of the fucking people? Good Lord. Earns an estimated $45 million at the broadcast network and has an estimated net worth of $250 million. As of 2022, he was making $45 a year. Yeah. Yeah, Sean Hannity's the highest paid guy there because he's been there the longest. $45 million. Net worth $250, annual salary $45. Laura Ingraham makes $15 million a year. She's next in line. Oh, yeah, he's the richest. And she's next. She's worth $40 million. Neil Cavuto makes $7 million. Jesus Christ. Can Maria Bartiromo make rent? He's worth $25 million. He makes a lot less than she does, and he's worth more. That's what happens when you're on Fox Business. That's a little bit of insider trading. Gutfeld makes $7 million a year. He's worth $18 million. Jesse Waters makes $5 million. By the way, this list is all cattywampus because Tucker is, never has to work a day in his fucking life. Judge Janine makes $3 million a year. She's worth $14 million. Bill Hemmer makes $3 million. Shannon Breep, look at that. Equity and Pay. They both are on the same show, basically, and they both make $3 million. That's the standard pay for that hour. Perino makes $1 million a year. She's new. Yeah, just regular folk. Exactly, CSL. Will Kay makes $500K. He's worth $1.5 million. Nothing to sneeze at. Probably what the cost of his house. He's Fox Friend Weekend. These are the top paid people there, I guess. Laura Ingraham and Greg's making, he does 2 shows though. Waters only does 1, right? And he'll sometimes guest, but the 5 is always Greg, and then he's also got Gutfeld, which he does 2 shows on. So that's how they're spreading the money around. That's how they do it. They don't want to pay who you're working with. That's what Fox Nation is for. So they shovel money. If they want to raise, if he gets Gristly and that is like, raise my pay, and they're like, if we raise your pay, everybody else gets something. So instead of raising your pay for your show, we'll keep it the same, and then we'll give you this no-show gig bullshit voiceover thing you'll do on Fox Nation, and we'll feed you $2 million a week on top of that. Deal? And that's how it works. And then these guys, they can't say, he got a raise, I want a raise. They can just go, he got another show on there, and they're like, what would that show be? Well, we'll push it around. We'll see what we come up with. And then they never actually, get around to it. It's a standard kind of business thing for when they've got, you see this on TV casts. Don't ask me how I know that. True.
People can decide for themselves. What's your reaction to how they handle this?
One day, Americans will have the internet and they can watch whatever the fuck they want. They may think they're tuning in to hear Rachel Maddow's take on and Steve Kornacki read off the numbers and all that kind of stuff, but they're really there just to go live to Trump whenever the fuck he wants to talk.
Well, Sean, does that shock anybody? I mean, they've been censoring my father since, the minute he went down the...
They didn't censor you. Motherfucker, you don't have a right to a microphone. You whingy little turd. What the fuck? That's not censorship. It's their network. He's threatened to shut these networks down. That's censorship. No wonder they don't want to show them. Get the fuck out of here. Believe me, if he says that shit about shutting them down, they'll show that part. How about that?
Escalator. Anything they put out, he would censor, right? All his press...
Say that again, Eric? I think you anybody notice how Eric is a chip off the old block and may have just had a Freudian slip?
Went down the escalator. Anything they put out, he would censor, right? Father since, the minute he went down the escalator. anything they put out that he would censor, right?
Eric, you're doing great, pal. Excellent work. Excellent. Just excellent. Excellent. Yes. What was that again? Everything they would put out, he would censor. When he was president, you mean? Interesting. Jesus.
And all his press conferences, they would censor. They would distort his words.
By the way, I carried his entire rallies and that kind of shit in his press conferences because I didn't want this accusation coming my way, and I think I did it quite successfully. He became boring after a while, I gotta say, but again, misrepresenting him. By the way, there are two defenses. They took him out of context, and he was being sarcastic. Neither of which are ever true.
Censor, right? And all his press conferences, they would censor. They would distort his words.
How so? Give me an example.
Kicked him off of Twitter. They kicked him off.
They kicked him off Twitter? You know who kicked him off Twitter? Twitter. Twitter kicked Trump off of Twitter. That's it. Federal government couldn't do that. Didn't do that. He was president when it happened.
Instagram. I mean, any chance.
If the government kicked Donald Trump off of Twitter, then Donald Trump, who was, according to him, king of the fucking government because he can commit any crime he wants and have total immunity, kicked himself off of Twitter, and you have no recourse because he censored himself.
Chance that they could remove a public, platform for my father to use to communicate to the American people. They did. Does it surprise you that
they'd have brought him back earlier, but he won't go on there because he's got a contract with his own stupid money grab fucking Truth Social.
MSDNC is doing the same thing on, New Hampshire primary night? Of course not. Does it surprise you that CNN's doing the exact same thing? Again, Sean, they're petrified of my father and his message.
And that message would be what? Grab women by the pussy, or Nikki Haley probably had an affair and that they'd be going after her, and that Vivek's last name is pronounced Ramaswamy.
Father's one person who does not need this job. I talk about
Jesus Christ. Well, you know what? We don't need him in this job. So how about we call it quits?
About that all the time. His life would be exponentially better if he was at Mar-a-Lago, if he's enjoying life, if he's...
Oh, God damn, by the way. Jesus Christ. Oh. Ooh. I gotta...
About that all the time. His life would be
I had to look at it. So did
exponentially better if he was at Mar-a-Lago, if he's enjoying...
No, it wouldn't. It's not his house. It's not his home, motherfucker. It's a rental space. That's like telling us his life would be exponentially better if he lived on the top floor of a fucking Ramada Inn.
Life, if he's enjoying his grandkids. The guy wants to save this country. Our whole family wants to save this country.
For whom?
Our republic is going down the tubes based on pure incompetence. And you just mentioned the border a second ago. I mean, if Biden was so focused on the border, why does he have federal agents going and cutting the barbed wire to allow...
Because people died. And because we don't use razor wire on the Mexican side of the border to stop people from entering a place that's not a military compound or something like that. It's open territory. Secondly, you can't put it in fucking rivers. The slippery slope legally across the entire fucking world is ginormous. If you allow that to happen, it allows it to be spread everywhere. Secondly, we would be liable under international law for people who got fucking slit to pieces or fucking got killed or drowned because they were cut by that shit. Here's the other question, and this might be a big one. Work with me on this. See if you can fold this into your brain, Eric. And maggots, which we have a few maggots in the chat, and I want to thank you for being here because time is the greatest gift you can give anybody, and there's no refunds. So I appreciate you being here. It's terrific. Don't forget to like and subscribe while you're here because you're going to want to hear my argument because it's fucking fantastic. Here we go. Now, why do they need razor wire if the wall works? I'll wait. Why Why would you need razor wire if the wall works? The wall works. If it's a... What the fuck is the wall for? Maybe you should have made the wall out of razor wire. I don't know. Why? Am I the only... Does this not occur to any of these fuckheads? Also, why is the border worse after the wall was built? Access road.
Legal immigrants into this country. I mean, why would he be doing that, right? If he cared so much about our economy, why would he have allowed inflation to hit 10%?
What? Okay. All right. First of all, fucko, let us know how if you're going to go, inflation went up because money printer go burr, right? The idea, too much money in the system gave us 10% inflation. God damn it. Okay. Who, and I'm going to give you a hint. Who turned the money printer on primarily in that situation? Now, don't worry, because your dad's not responsible for inflation, except if you maybe screw the pooch on how he handled COVID and he was a bit of a fuck up. But it had nothing to do with the amount of money in circulation. Quite frankly, inflation had zero to do with how much money was in circulation. Nothing. Fucking nothing. It was all supply shock because of COVID. I know these Volckerites want to tie themselves to this shit, but I have been vindicated in article after article after article in the last 6 months where people are like, fuck, maybe, I don't know, maybe you can't patch a $22 trillion hole in the economy with $6 trillion. Maybe if the economy loses $18 trillion in 8 months, with that money gone, maybe there's not too much money in circulation. That's... I'm going to have to germinate on that for a while. Oy. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I should make a smaller one of these just to cover it. Sprank.
He could have brought down gas prices. My father
He did bring down gas prices, dumbass.
had the lowest gas prices in the history of this nation.
Because nobody was driving. There were fewer people on the road than at any time since cars were invented. Nobody was driving. We were all indoor. It was COVID, you fuckhead. Oh my God, I'm tired of this talking point. Jesus Christ. Oil was at negative $35 a barrel. Of course gas was low. Now, why in the fucking world would oil be so low? Was it because of Trump's genius deal he made with the Saudis and the Russians and Americans to drive the price of oil as a commodity into the absolute shitter? No, because if you listen to him talk at his rallies, he's like, we had to get the price up or it was going to collapse everything. Like, motherfucker, no, that's you prioritizing like oil companies over the rest of the people in the economy who were fucking stuck. Oh, God.
The first thing Biden did was he put a ban on the Keystone XL pipeline. He stopped.
Just Canadian shale oil. It's not American oil. It still gets to market. It just doesn't have to cross over our aquifers to do it.
Stopped all drilling. He effectively did a moratorium on oil and gas. And guess what?
Did he? And guess what? Hold on. I think I might know the answer to this one. Hold on a second. Let's see. U.S. oil production. Let's see. Perhaps what do I want? News. That's probably what I want. I probably want news on U.S. Oh, you're not going to like this one, Eric. Eric, you're not going to like this one. Maggots, you're going to hate this one too. I'm sorry. I got to do this for you. This is okay. Ready? This is so good. Oh God, you're going to hate it. I don't know how to I'm just going to all right. I don't know how. I almost feel bad for Eric and the maggots. I really do. Okay. Wait for it. Oh, this is going to be bad. It's going to suck, Eric. Here it comes. Just look at that headline. Just soak it in. Soak it in. Soak it in, Mr. Drill Baby Drill, you dumb son of a bitch. The U.S., I'll read it out loud if you can't see it. The U.S. is breaking oil production records with fewer drilling rigs. Here's how. Commodities Corner. That's the wonderful time. Hello, kids. Welcome to Commodities Corner. I'm Josephus Ginger Cookie, and I will be your expert on oil drilling in today's Commodities Corner. Don't make me say that name again. I'm never going to remember. Josephus Ginger Cookie? Where the fuck does that guy come from? Now I got to create a character for it. It's a lot of work. All right. U.S. oil production has been holding at or near record highs since October. Topping the previous peak from 2020, even though the number of active domestic oil drilling rigs is down nearly 30% from 4 years ago. Also, by the way, the peak in 2020 was at the beginning of January. And then, of course, where do you think that went? Strength in oil prices and gains in investment and output efficiency have contributed to that climb, though analysts see a potential slowdown in output growth ahead because they don't have to drill because it's so much more efficient to just use the... Anyway. U.S. oil production has nearly tripled in the last 15 years, fueled by advances in drilling and fracking technology and investments in the early 2010s. I forget who was president during the 2010s, and I don't ask me who was vice president. I'll be completely stumped. Due to sustained higher oil prices and favorable government policies. U.S. strategy to reduce dependence on foreign oil led to various federal and state level tax breaks and eased regulations for oil exploration and production of E&P companies. The surge in production has also led the U.S. to become a major oil exporter, opening up new markets for companies to sell the increased production despite limited increases in U.S. demand. See that part? See that part that's really fucking interesting? We're lowering our demand, so we sell more of it. So we don't use more of it, we sell more of it. That's why you want about 30% minimum commuter cars, not cross-country vehicles, not Mack trucks and all that kind of shit. We'll get there eventually as battery technology or hydrogen technology grows. But commuters who drive on the regular the same 9 miles over and fucking over can use an electric car. There we go. U.S. strategy to reduce dependence on foreign oil led to various federal, state, and local... Okay, we already read that part. U.S. crude oil production stood at 13.2 million barrels per day as of the week ended January 5th after reaching a record 13.3 million barrels per day for the weeks of December 15th and December 22nd, according to data from the Energy Information Administration. That topped the previous record of 13.1 million barrels per day for the week ended in March 13th, 2020. Oh, the highest number that Trump ever reached has been bested yet again by sleepy Joe Biden, who kicked Trump's ass while never leaving his basement like a fucking, like Matthew Broderick in War Games. That wasn't his basement. He actually had an upstairs. You get it. It's a hacker reference. Okay. Anyways. At that time, the number of active U.S. drilling rigs for oil stood at 683, according to data from Baker Hughes. That number was at 499 as of the week ended January 12th, marking roughly a 27% drop. So during Biden, We have 27 fewer rigs running, and we have higher output. That now I gotta say that if Trump had figures like that, I think he'd be bragging about them. He didn't. Right. Let's see the other thing, and this is the other thing that's worrying them. Let's see if I bring this down here. Get back up here. What are you doing? Why does it do that sometimes? I don't understand. Get back up here, you silly. Okay. Yeah. U.S. oil and clean energy both boom under Biden. U.S. oil and clean energy both boom under Biden. Big Biden boom.
Jella boom.
That Jella boom.
Yeah,
Big Biden boom. Big bada bing boom. Bada Biden boom.
Yeah, big bada boom.
Biden boom.
Bada big boom.
Bada big boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Big Biden
Yeah,
boom.
big bada boom.
Bada boom.
Biden boom.
Big boom. Big bada boom.
Big Biden boom. Yeah. So, Dan Neal, car columnist at the Wall Street Journal, acknowledges some past glitches with EVs, but then offers an update to Trump's claims. People who actually drive one of the new models, Neal writes, are finding it quicker, quieter, and more refined and responsive, more efficient, more connected, and cheaper to operate than its gas-powered equivalent. After a few miles in an EV, going back to internal combustion feels like returning to whale oil lamps. It does. It's a little crazy. Also, yeah, bag, Biden, boom. Also, I'd like to say for the record, and where the fuck am I? Get back up here, you silly. Okay, bink. There we go. For the record, where is this? Hold on. There you go. This dipshit does not know what he's talking about at all, which I've just proven through materials. By the way, shit that's not even coming from like the Biden administration or a government source. The fucking Wall Street Journal is owned by Rupert Murdoch. Believe me, if the economics were favorable to Trump, they'd be touting them.
Inflation shot through the roof.
No, it didn't. It responded to supply shock, shithead, because we were all and COVID. That's like saying unemployment shot down through the roof and went into the basement.
And inflation was massively outpacing wage growth in the
Was? Wait a minute. Because inflation is a permanent state. You must be talking about supply shock and the cost of goods, a supply-demand issue that resulted in disinflation later. Well, I mean, you would be referencing that if you were smart enough to even understand the fucking concept.
This country, which was cramming down.
Also, while you're at it, why don't you tell us how fucking awesome Javier Milei is again? I think what is Argentina's like 211% inflation right now.
The ordinary people in this country. He was making their lives exponentially harder. If he cared about the economy.
COVID did that. Coming out of COVID did that. If Biden hadn't cleaned up your dad's fucking backseat attitude, fucking limo attitude towards handling the pandemic, now we'll just get fucking the pharmacy companies and we'll go into parking lots of Walmart and army guys will be giving shots to people. It's going to be fucking magic. They'll handle it. I'm going to be golfing, right? If he didn't have to clean that shit up, we'd have gotten to a lot of this stuff a lot earlier.
Why would he have done that? It's reckless. This guy's policies are reckless. It's driving our country into the ground.
Infrastructure is reckless? Is that why that must have been why your dad didn't do it? Yeah. Is that the Trump argument? Investments in infrastructure are reckless. That's why it was always infrastructure week.
We're not perceived as strong anywhere in the world. I mean,
Well, I would argue the Houthis are a little nervous right now. And Russia hasn't won. You know, they're fighting a country that's big compared to them, and they're getting their ass handed to them. They've lost almost 400,000 people trying to take a chunk of Ukraine they had tacit control over already.
And literally, other countries around the world, we have properties in some of these countries.
And they laugh at you when you show up, and so you think they're laughing at Americans because when you show up, they're like, "There's Eric. Oh my God, don't show him the meme."
They're laughing at us.
Yes, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it, Eric. When you show up at your properties in other country, there are people in those countries laughing at you. That's okay. I'll take your word for that.
They're laughing at the United States of America. You have Zelensky last week that literally went to Switzerland to try and negotiate peace. Wasn't that always America's place in the world? You go to America to negotiate peace. You don't go to Switzerland. You don't go to...
Why would they go to America to negotiate peace? What are you talking about? You mean like the Israelis and the Palestinians? What are you talking about? He went to Switzerland to call their bluff.
France, you don't go to these other countries?
Yeah, fucking France. Who goes to fucking France? Except the United States during the Revolutionary War, and we wouldn't exist if Ben Franklin hadn't joined a Freemason lodge in Paris.
You know,
True story.
Come to America.
Why the fuck do you think there's a Lafayette in every state you're in?
But we don't have that standing in the world anymore. We're losing.
Yeah, we do. Whose fucking Navy do you think is doing these strikes, dum-dum?
Our currency. We're losing our culture. We're losing...
Whoa.
America, but we don't have that standing in the world anymore. We're losing our currency.
Okay, first of all, one of the reasons why there's 211% inflation in Argentina is because they're now switching to the dollar. We're not losing our currency. What are you fucking kidding me? Why? Here's the thing. I know this is a Gish Gallop and it's Sean Hannity's show, but fucking stop him and make him, even if you think he knows what the fuck he's talking about, stop him and go, what do you mean by that? What do you mean losing our currency? Just do a breakout session. It's not enough to just fucking toss these little fucking things in the air and act like, I don't know fucking that was there when I got here. Like, Jesus Christ, this guy throws out talking points like he's chucking a bag of weed out his fucking window when the cop pulls you over. Own it. Explain it.
We're losing our culture. We're losing our freedoms. We're losing our constitution. We're losing our pets' heads are falling off. Where's the Constitution? Who has the Constitution? Who had it? Fuck me. I think it's around here somewhere. He's right. It's gone. I went and checked. I ran all the way. It's gone. I don't know who. Does anybody have eyes on Nick Cage? Fucking dickhead. Losing God in society. We're losing.
Or what?
Freedoms. We're losing our constitution. We're losing God in society.
We're losing God in society. Because your pussy-grabbing father, who never saw a church he didn't want to laugh at until he needed the evangelical vote, or he wanted fucking AI pictures of Jesus putting him in a fucking headlock in the Oval Office, lost to a Catholic that goes to Mass every Sunday. Fucking, I swear to God, these dumb motherfuckers are going to see Joe Biden on Ash Wednesday and go, he doesn't even know he's got stuff on his fucking face. Nobody even tells him this country's falling apart.
We're losing it all because we have an incompetent human being in the White House, and we
Let me
need
ask you last-
strength again. And my father.
Again, let me ask you this: how did an incompetent guy like that get an infrastructure bill passed, and the CHIPS Act passed, and actually, had agreed to, sign a version of the immigration bill that would have gone through too if it wasn't for your dad running interference for it? Why wasn't your dad able to do infrastructure at all?
Father will do an unbelievable job. He will get.
Yes, you're right. I do not believe he will even do the job.
Get this ship back on track in about 2 seconds flat.
Yeah, that's how you capsize a ship. I mean, it's speedboats you can jerk left and right, but a ship you gotta slow and steady.
Let me ask you this, and I've talked to a lot
Can you kick my ass?
of people today, and Nikki Haley's not even competing in Nevada. I'm not really sure why.
Because it's another caucus run by the party. She's looking at primary votes. And if she knows she's going to lose, she's better with her money spent in South Carolina. Did you even fucking see how Biden won? Were you even paying attention? Of course not.
Apparently, I guess she didn't file the right paperwork. Something happened. I'm not sure. But then the next state that they will compete in is her home state of South Carolina. Currently, the Real Clear Politics average has your dad up by 30 points. Is it even really worth your dad's time to...
When's the last Real Clear Politics thing? Was it before or after New Hampshire? And when what's his name was still in the race? When DeSantis, you see, I don't even care anymore.
Engage in that part of the primary, and maybe it's time to pivot and really go after Joe Biden?
Yeah, I agree. I don't even know why he's kicking her ass. I think he should just blow off the rest of the primary and not go to any of these fucking states. Yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, he doesn't have to. He's obvious. Look at the polls. He's winning like crazy. He doesn't have to go. Jesus Christ. He didn't have to do fucking 17 Iowa gaggles and go to these like little fucking Quonset hut offices and blather for hours at a time. He didn't have to do that. He just wanted to do that. I mean, where's he going to be? Court?
Well, listen, I think you can do both at the same time. And I thought it was funny. I was standing right behind my father last night, and she mentioned
so he wouldn't fall backward.
Competency, yet she lost by 30 points in the first. She came in third in Iowa. She lost decisively last night in New Hampshire.
But she's moving up. Nice tongue jut. Jesus Christ, you window licker.
She filed the wrong paperwork, so she's not going to be on the ballot next week. So my father's going to go running away with Nevada. And then he's going to go beat her in her home state of South Carolina by a lot. And I don't think there's a single elected official in the state who's actually endorsed her, which tells you probably everything you need.
That's because he's making the argument that he broomed her out of the way so he could put people more favorable to him in the state government in South Carolina because of the look, and I don't think even people recognize this. South Carolina and Arizona are big fucking money states with populations that are not comparable to that amount. Like, so Texas and California and New York make a lot of money, big money states, but they have a lot of people at the same time. South Carolina and Arizona don't. Their populations are relatively small. But in the case of South Carolina, there's like defense contractors, chemical companies, pharmaceutical companies, huge money, and very few workers doing those jobs. The same thing is true of like the tech manufacturing, the fabs where they're making all the chips in Arizona. Not a lot of people in that fucking state compared to California or Texas, obviously in the bigger states, but a lot of money. It's like a state that's all Cupertino in California with none of the baggage of the other big cities. That's why there's such a fucking power struggle to control South Carolina or to control Arizona. That's why it matters so much. Like, there's some states where you're like, why the fuck? And the reason you say that is because a couple weeks after you hear about some story from Wyoming or South Dakota or something that, unless it has to do with a NORAD site or some shit like that, you're not gonna really hear about those states because they don't really have an impact on the general economic picture of the country, right? They just don't. South Carolina does, and Trump and his people recognized that when they were in office. And one of the reasons he says he brought her in because he liked the
I don't know, her lieutenant governor, and he wanted him to take over the role, and why they were trying to control that, because the Republicans want control over those industries, and they want connections to those people, and he wants to, because you don't have a lot of workers, you're not building Ramadas there, you're building W's. You're building the kind of hotels that like rich people buy these chemicals or buy these things from all over the world want to come and stay at. That's what they want to be in bed with. That's why he gave a shit. Yeah, hold on one second. I'll show I'm sorry if I can type. Here we go. Here we go. Let's try this guy right here. Here you go. Tourism is a major industry. That's true. Okay, agriculture, we know that. Tourism, automotive, aerospace. And by the way, aerospace is effectively all the DoD stuff, because I think there's a big Boeing plant down there. Yeah, aerospace is one of the most vibrant industries in South Carolina, having an economic impact valued at $19 billion over the years. The aerospace industry has evolved to become one of the key pillars of South Carolina's economy. 2009, Boeing chose the site. Yeah, that's where Boeing's been this entire time. Hold on, I'll look at the chemical plants too. I don't know why they're not. This is just World Atlas, so I don't know how up to date this is. And I've heard of BMW, a lot of car things, tourism, blah, blah, blah. And then agriculture, diversified, heavy mechanized greenhouse nurseries, turkeys, broilers, corn, cotton, soybeans, wheat, eggs, cattle. Currently, there are about 25,000 farms in South Carolina, which cover an area of 4.9 million acres. As of 2018, investments in agribusiness firms stood at $485 million, and 9.1% of the economic output of the state was attributed to agribusiness. Now, hold on one second. Then we'll go to, it's again, not a super high population state. And then, there you go. Hold on. Let's get the fuck out of here. Okay. Top chemical manufacturing companies in South Carolina. BASF, they're in South Carolina. They got 10,000 plus global employees, and this is their hub. BASF is as their primary hub. Ecolab, Solvay, Diversey, Airgas, Ingevity, Mitsubishi's chemical plant, right, is there. Yeah. Fujifilm, Simrise, DSM Firmenich. These are big fucking companies, and they're all in, and they've got, let's see, where's the, and these are, this is a job listing site, I think. Yeah. Best places to work 2024. Yeah, there you go. Yes, BASF is British, but this is their hub in the States. They're hiring 1,000 people. They got 1,000 jobs there. 1.2 thousand jobs there. 47 jobs in this Solvay chemical manufacturer. 5,001 to 10,000 employees. Solvay created in 1863. Yeah, okay. So, anyways, this is their plant in South Carolina. Their facility there, and it might just be mostly sales, but also fabrication. Like this is like low cost, high yield business. That's why it mattered to him. Yeah. Just kind of catching you up on that. Same thing is true if you look at like the chip manufacturing facilities in Arizona. Holy shit. Like $9 billion in investment. Yeah.
To know about the actual person. So I think my father can do both. I mean, he's clearly going to win Nevada. He's clearly going to win South Carolina. And I think he's going to win every single state on Super Tuesday. In fact, it's upsetting to me, Sean, because at this point, I truly believe that she's just in the race to be a spoiler.
And I guess tough shit.
And when you see the majority of her donors,
boo fuckity who. Welcome to the world of Democrats. We have to deal with this shit all the time.
Are Democratic operatives or, frankly, rhinos. I mean,
those are, by the way, hold on. Frankly, rhinos? Yeah, those are Republicans, asshole. They're not our problem.
Look at the same person who's one of our largest donors is the very guy who's funding many of the lawsuits against my father right now. So many.
Well, is there something about this dude? Maybe he's just into supporting women. Maybe that's the dig.
He thinks he has to stay in New York and fight every single day. Reid Hoffman.
He doesn't have to stay there.
Does that surprise anybody? Does it surprise any?
What surprises me is that you don't just settle and fuck off, and why he can't keep his mouth shut about this particular woman, just let it slide if he doesn't think it's going to have an impact anyways. Right?
Anybody that 70% of the people who voted for Nikki Haley yesterday were not Republicans?
Ooh, is a little. Oh, we got lip spittle. Ah, fuck me. Sorry to do this to you guys. Not good. Always be on the lookout. Whenever you're going to speak on television or for any length of time, you want to avoid diuretics, and you want to drink plenty of water an hour before. Taking a sip in the middle of it is not going to solve it. Just going to make the fucker bounce around your face. We've all watched it happen. You know how they talk about how, like, oh my God, it was a train wreck. The whole thing was a train wreck. And the idea being is that, interestingly enough, a train wreck is terrible and you can't take your eyes off of it. These are the two kind of primary reasons why we use that train wrecks as an analogy. And I would argue that a dog taking a shit satisfies both of those things, because it's weirdly, you watch everybody's eyes when a dog starts taking a shit. It's like they can't take their eyes off. It's hilarious. But the same thing is true of a bouncy piece of spittle making its way across someone's lip. You ever watch somebody just go like that? Now it's on the top lip. Now it's on the bottom lip. Oh, it's worked its way into the corners. Oh, it's got a friend. Right? It's the stuff of nightmares.
They were Democrats and some independents. I mean, Sean, at this point, I
fucking independents, am I right? Fuck those people. Jesus.
Truly believe she's being paid or something to be in the race as a pure spoiler, and the party should not put up with that. We need to focus our guns.
You're gonna focus your guns. The party shouldn't have to put up with what? Other people running? Hey, we have to, and our people have even less of a shot, motherfucker. She got within striking distance. Dean Phillips and Marianne Williamson aren't coming anywhere near the White House ever. And we're not drumming them out. We're just going, fuck you. They are running as spoilers.
She has to win. She has to win for her to be competitive, and so far that's not going to happen. And if she can overcome a.
By the way, I don't know if this is the case, and this is a good question, because I don't give a shit about Republican caucuses and this stuff, because I've never been in the fight trying to get anybody across the finish line about it. Do we know if they're all winner take all? I can't imagine they would be, right? Because it's a curious thing. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. Here you go. This is the delegate thing or whatever. I don't know why this is fucking stretched out like this. Makes no sense to me. Okay. Allocation rules by state 2024. So, okay, you need gray is the convention. They give theirs to whoever goes to the convention. So you don't have to actually go to these 3 states, because they just give them to you, whoever the fuck, right? It's too many people. There's too few people, too much land. We don't want to fucking get on our horse back in the day and travel all the way across the fucking state to the one city so that we can fucking clap for some dickhead and then ride all the way back. This is whoever. The rest of these are proportional. The light green, that's not a lot. It's Kentucky, Virginia, Minnesota, yeah, and then it's hard to tell it's like light green from regular green. Oh yeah, these are the hybrid ones. The stripe ones are hybrid, meaning you need a certain amount and then you win a plurality. And then the dark green are winner take all. Gotcha. Okay. So that's why Iowa and New Hampshire and everybody jumps in there, because you want to start bagging those fucking things right away. That's interesting too, is that I guess the different counties in South Carolina are hybrid with a WTA trigger. Okay, so the stripe ones are with a trigger, and then but these guys are whatever. Okay, fucking 516 of the votes come from the states like South Carolina. Proportional state will proportionally allocate delegates based on the statewide thing. That's the light green. Proportional with a trigger. State will follow the above proportional rules, but allow for a winner-take-all allocation if the candidate wins a majority or more of the vote statewide and/or the congressional district level. Hybrid states the category follow a form of winner-take-most plan. Includes states with winner-take-all by congressional district methods, and then winner-take-all, obviously. Okay, so they're all over the place. Wow, something I didn't need to know and don't really care about.
30-point deficit in South Carolina. That would shock me. Your dad has the current governor, the sitting governor, 2 sitting senators.
Right. For business purposes.
Most of the congressional delegation.
Anybody who golfs.
And I read somewhere a total of about 150 statewide.
I don't know, but Sean, you're giving off the kind of. What I'm getting from you is that, in your estimation, the people of South Carolina elected Nikki Haley as a woman of color just for show, and that they don't actually think their leaders are meant for the national stage. Is that where you're going with this?
Officials that are endorsing him. Eric Trump, great to have you back, sir. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Just don't like her.
What? Conservatives just don't like her.
Eric Trump, great to have you back, sir. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Just don't like her.
Well, because she's a woman, you mean? Or
we appreciate you being with us. Thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity.
Also, define conservative. Whatever. Anyways, it's so aggravating. Like him in general, just what a fucking bore. I'm going to get rid of this thing, and then we'll go up one more. Now, oh dear. All right, let me show you, because this is okay. Here you go. I'll give you an example. This is Dean Phillips, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dean Phillips, and Dean Phillips is running for the Democratic nomination, and he went to a Trump rally and said, "My party is completely delusional because they're attacking MAGA Republicans." Because apparently he's willing to help, I guess, feed them this idea that there is no distinction between MAGA and Republicans. They're all the same.
Most of the people in the country are going to the Trump rally right now because he's listening to them.
No, they are not. The numbers are way fucking down. I would like a president that can count.
No one's asking about this stuff. I'm just frustrated. I hope you understand.
What about the flat earth?
Understand why I'm getting tired of it. You're doing your jobs, but you're not asking the questions that Americans give a shit about.
Why don't you just say the programs you're going to do and go, I appreciate that, but I would rather talk about this. You just kind of sound like a douchebag. This is one of these people who's labored under the idea that labors under the idea that the press tees up the world for the Bidens of the world, and they don't have to work at all, and they don't have to reshape the message, or they don't have, a team that works on stuff all the fucking time. It just magically happens. Like, they just give it to them. And so when they walk into a situation where they don't give you the question you want so you can run away with it, you think you're being cheated. It isn't that you're not getting something that nobody else gets either. You think someone else is getting a leg up and you're not getting that leg up, so you act like you're being treated unfairly. You ain't.
Yeah, they're not asking the right questions.
What question should they ask, lady in pumpkin cardboard?
That was Democratic presidential.
What is happening over here? Honest to God, it looks like you're wearing an orange takeout box.
candidate Dean Phillips laying into the media for ignoring Americans' concerns.
Dear God. Thankfully, somebody is doing it. You know what I mean? Like, laying into him in front of that flag in that place on a phone. I'm sure they heard.
And Trump voters. Later, Phillips took a shot at his fellow Democrats. Watch.
I got to tell you guys, I went to a Donald Trump rally a couple.
Really? I'm surprised you're not at all of them. All right. Haven't I seen you wearing a suit that looks like a wall?
Nights ago. Never been to one.
Uh-huh.
I had an event across the street. I saw the line of people waiting in the cold for hours.
And noticed there wasn't one for yours. And you had some free time.
And I thought, what the heck? You know, I'm going to be a leader who actually invites people, doesn't condemn them.
Oh, you went to invite the Trumpies to your place. Like, hi, I'm Dean Phillips. I'm running for the Democratic nomination. Would you like to come to my rally instead of Donald Trump's, since he's going to say the same shit anyways?
Probably 50 Trump people waiting in line.
50? Oh, my God. You went to one of the good ones. Jesus.
Even outside, it's packed.
50? That would increase the number of people, including you, by 5,000%.
Every single one of them, thoughtful, hospitable, friendly, all of them.
Cold, mostly cold.
Them so frustrated that they feel no.
Yes, it is, Tony. Yes, it is.
Nobody's listening to them but Donald Trump. A diverse crowd, people who had never been to a Trump event before. My party.
Because they didn't know to show up early because they were going to be muscled out by the front row Joes who got there in their Winnebago 3 days ahead of time. We had no idea. We showed up. We thought we could just walk right in like you can normally. But apparently this is a cult.
He is completely delusional.
Tudor, truer words never spoken. And the only qualifier to this is it makes me a little sad.
It makes me a little sad that who didn't give her, Kayleigh McEnany the memo that you're supposed to wear primary pastels? Also, be careful going to this lady, what her talking points are, because never wear green. Not now. Not now. Don't do it. There's a little bit of green in the trees of this snowman shirt. You can see it flickering. See that? Gives you a kind of accident. But it's not so much that you could fill it with anything, and I'm smart enough to wear a jacket. But man, you're wearing a whole fucking green screen outfit? Are you nuts?
Never spoken. And the only qualifier to this is it makes me a little sad that he had to just talk directly to Trump voters to see, oh my gosh, they're just like us. Of course they are. Because we are all.
No. Those are people who had never been to a Trump rally. Those aren't Trump voters. Those are Republicans in that state who went to see the rally to see if it was more, who didn't know you have to show up at fucking 6 a.m. to get inside on these tiny little places because of the people who aren't from the state who will muscle their way into it.
All Americans, and we are all facing the same issues. And those.
Jeez, so you're upset because Navarro's attorney called people commies? Is that?
Those guys are facing the singular issue of not being listened to except for by one candidate.
But this message of MAGA extremist has painted an entire 75 million people as.
No, they're not all MAGA. That's the. Why do you think she got nearly 50% in New Hampshire, dum-dum?
These crazy people, right? And Kayleigh knows I used to be the person in line with all of those folks interviewing people. And he's exactly right. Diverse group, dedicated.
Yeah, they like all kinds of music, country and Western. They're a diverse group of people. These people, some of them think the earth is flat. Others think it's shaped like a bowl. Some of them believe that we live on an origami duck. It's a diverse group of people, but what they all agree on is that Joe Biden is actually Randy Quaid in a suit.
Dedicated to the country, not just dedicated to Trump. That's what people think. These are people who just love Trump. No, they love America. I've been when it's been below zero.
They only love America when Trump's in charge of it, though. That's the thing. They love the word. There's a little more work to it than that.
I've been when it's been 100 degrees. They are dedicated because they feel like this country needs to be brought back. And that's
right. I don't know. What was that phrase again we kept hearing? Fuck your feelings. Show me measured areas where it needs to be brought back. Perhaps we'll find some agreement. and then bring to the table your solution to bring it back to those things, the actual material changes you would like to make, and we'll have a conversation. That's what bipartisan legislation is about.
But he saw genuinely loving people. And I love
Yeah, who are like, yeah, I'll go inside. It's fucking freezing out here.
that he went out there and said that. And I think CNN was probably like, uh-oh, we've been told the truth on.
Uh-oh, we've been told the truth on. That happens. It happens. Some of us get told the truth on the regular.
and Kevin, you know, it's really hard, I think, to truly explain or to truly convey
Yes, totally.
the amount of rejection that Americans feel. And in that rejection,
because Trump lost?
to see every day and to have reinstated every day, reinforced that everyone else is better than you are.
Jesus Christ. What? What are you talking? Like Donald? That's Donald Trump's raison d'etre. That's his entire argument is that he's better than everyone else. Are you kidding me?
Let's take a walk down memory lane. This is just some of the examples of Democrats and the media repeatedly bashing Trump supporters and Republicans. Let's watch.
All right, let's do it. Like people get okay. They're going to go to a basket of deplorables because she said a good portion of Republicans you can converse with, but
you could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
Half? Bitch, she didn't say half. She said 75 million people. That's not half. Half is 30 some odd. 38, maybe, wiggle room, 35. I don't know if you pin them up. It depends on if they like the basket or not, I suppose.
Credulous boomer rube demo that backs Donald Trump that wants to think that Donald Trump's a smart one and y'all elitists are dumb.
You That's a Republican, by the way.
Lead us with your geography and your maps and your spelling, even though my
your math and your reading.
Maybe there needs to be a
Yeah, that's it. Kind of funny. Yeah.
formal deprogramming of the cult members, but something needs to happen.
You're going to have rural people out there voting their craziness about the cult.
We are worried about potential rise of fascism in this country.
All right. Real quick, why is Rachel Maddow saying we're worried about the rise of fascism in this country when you've got like fucking Patriot Front marching places and Donald Trump saying very fine people about the tiki torch fuckers and that kind of shit? That's a reasonable worry. Is it slightly overstated? Do they not have kind of the ground game people thought? Sure. Everybody was very worried about Russia until they attacked Ukraine. You're like, wow, these motherfuckers can't find their ass with both hands. They suck. What is it? Second greatest military in the world? Bullshit. Same thing with China's economy. But leading up to that, there was some concern because the signs and what you were kind of hearing in general point in that direction. Am I worried about fascism taking over the United States? No. No, I am not.
Leader who is trying to do that is part of that equation. But people wanting that is a much bigger part of that equation.
Trump and his mouth.
Right, yeah. It's more than just the guy. If you have to have an audience, and concern about that audience growing even slightly is dangerous and stupid, and yeah.
Maga supporters not only embrace political violence, but they laugh about
it. Yeah, they do.
How can there be any question about how these Americans feel when we see things like that?
How these Americans feel when, I don't know. Did they hear any of it or were they busy laughing about political violence?
Well, listen, I'm one of the Democrats on Fox News. I believe in communication and reaching out and engaging. And some of the most authentic conversations I've had with people are people who watch Fox, right? Who are great.
You're not having you work at Fox now.
To hear a different perspective, and I engage with those folks. I will never attack a voter for Donald Trump, Nikki Haley, whomever. I will gladly take on their policies, right, and fight every day against them. But I think, I'm a Democrat that wants the biggest tent possible. I want to reach out to disaffected Trump voters.
Great. But all you're doing is just avoiding the label conversation. What she's having conversation about is that MAGA applies to everybody. And Hillary Clinton's basically saying, and Biden even are saying, MAGA doesn't apply to everybody. It applies to this particular group. And this particular group has the reins on the rest of these folks. And if they didn't, we could talk to these folks and we'd be back to a much more normal back and forth about real political ideas, the kind of stuff you're allegedly talking about here. Fuck off.
independents. That's how we win again as Democrats, like we did in 2020, and not castigate anyone. I'm marrying a Republican next month, right? So, I mean, it starts at home for me.
Yeah. So what'd you get? Did they set you up with a wife at Fox? Is that how it works?
And again, I think we got to come back to that because, Emily, to your point, we're Americans first. And to Tudor's point, when you drown out, the other side, you risk losing yourself.
Yeah.
How are we drowning them out? You're allowed to directly criticize, and if a group of people wears hats with a fucking moniker on it, and they address it as like a piece of a uniform, and you ain't in the game unless you own the hat, then you can draw attention to that particular cult-like superstitious behavior.
Lucky you and lucky him.
Amen. He's
and
a lucky
Harris,
guy.
as Kevin said, frankly, that's sort of a minority opinion within that party and within the media. That's what we're being faced with every day, that avalanche.
Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Emily, it's interesting.
By the way, can we just say for a second, we've come a long way. A gay man is marrying a gay conservative, and he mentioned it on Fox News, and the Fox News hosts all had to say congratulations. They just, and it might have even, and I actually believe it was to some degree genuine. Let me tell you something. That the toothpaste does not go back in the tube, and this is just recognize that like mile marker.
It is a minority opinion, but it's changing a bit. And, maybe those 14 Democrats who joined the Republican-led resolution to condemn Biden's border crisis just last week, maybe they were part of that growing voice. Maybe Dean Phillips, who
because they were trying to get votes for the border bill, stupid.
Sat next to me yesterday and managed to scoop up 20% of the vote against a write-in of an incumbent president. Maybe he's that, because what he told me was both sides need to recognize each other. He said, but his particular side needs to stop calling names and so on and so forth. And then we had Sununu come on later and call names. So, I mean...
Right, who's a Republican.
And so Dean Phillips is right about that. So maybe there's a crack of daylight somewhere for Democrats to stop seeing Republican voters as the enemy.
The fuck are you talking about? First of all, Biden got the infrastructure bill passed bipartisan. It was a bipartisan bill. It's benefiting all these places. The problem is all the Republicans in all those states are castigating this bill, pretending it doesn't exist or lying about it. And then, as Biden says, see at the ribbon cutting, they all show up to applaud themselves for shit they voted against.
But it's going to take some time. And
yeah, it's going to take a little time. A little time to think things over.
Meantime,
gotta read between the lines.
What happens? They could lose elections because maybe they...
In my life, sorry, there's been heartache and pain. I don't know if I can face it again.
They're ostracizing others.
Do you ever get a song stuck in your head? You do now.
People, black voters feel
now. I've traveled so far to change this lonely life.
Like they're being replaced by illegal immigrants right now, some of them in Chicago.
Some of them are being replaced by illegal immigrants in Chicago.
Their resources are being drowned out.
Their resources are being drowned out.
By Biden's border policies.
No, they aren't. He didn't send those people up from Texas. The federal government sends a shit ton of resources for people coming across the border, specifically to Texas, and pays for it. It's one of the reasons why Texas has a strong economy as they do, is that they write off almost all, something like 50% of their law enforcement is written off as border protection, even in the north of the state.
And unfortunately, Kaylee, though, if there is daylight, it is being eclipsed by the continued vitriol coming out of the media and the left.
That's the thing about, an eclipse. All right, stop right there, and I'll bring back the sun.
Martin Gurry in the Free Press bashing Trump voters, saying the retreat from democracy is most evident in the visceral contempt for the voters. The implications are clear. Not only Trump, but the nearly 75 million Americans who voted for him must be silenced and crushed, Kaylee. He writes to say...
Oh, my God. What did the Free Press say? The Free Press? Well, what do they know about anything? They can't even charge money for their thing. Obviously.
Democracy, it must be modified by a possessive our democracy, because only one side of the political divide has legitimacy, and that's published?
Yeah, that is unbelievable. But
No, it's quite believable. It's an extreme side of the argument, but bring on here real quick before you move any further, Kelly McEnany. Call over one of the Republican staffers that's always hanging around Fox News, one of the people who are like hardcore conservatives. Ask him if we're a democracy, live on the air. Just ask him. Think they're going to say yes? And if you push back and say, they're going to say, we're a republic. And you're like, yes, but we choose our leaders through democratic means, through a democracy. No, we don't. We've always picked them through the Electoral College because it's about the land and control of that space, and not everybody, we were never meant to blah, blah, blah. That's where they'll go. They'll go every fucking time. They won't stop at the, we're a republic. They'll dig fucking in. Dead serious. Anybody, except maybe the camera guys, who work at Fox News, call one of them over and ask them.
The President of the United States, President Biden, feeds into it. If you think differently than him on COVID, it's Neanderthal thinking. You know, the vaccinated have a right to...
No. You can have your concerns. You can have your questions. Neanderthal thinking is, I think I'm going to shove a light bulb up my ass and drink bleach or fishbowl cleaner or take medicine that's for worms and hope I feel better because it turns out I didn't have COVID, but I did have worms for a long time. Who the fuck knew? That's kind of backwards thinking, and that's, you know, it's Cro-Magnon or Neanderthal thinking is a great reference for that rather than just backwards. Although I think backwards very much works. I think it would serve the Republicans, or it would serve the Democrats in terms of a Republican talking point to call it, you know, the backwards party, the party of, you know, or backwards points. Yeah. So there you go.
Be angry at the unvaccinated. If you think differently than him on voting rights, you're compared to a segregationist. If you're MAGA, you're a clear...
Well, yeah, but point out real quick, what does he think about voting? That every citizen who's over the age of 18 should have the right to vote, unless they are currently serving as for a felony in a state or federal pen. And then what's the other restriction part of it? Oh, that unless the state wants to provide an ID that is not transferable, specific to every individual citizen in the United States, the federal government provides it for them, that no state can take away, that you can use as an ID. Until that point, you can't have photo ID from a state, you know, or their dictates on it, because they'll just remove it from you. They'll charge money for it. And if you charge money for the ID that you need to vote, that's a poll tax, and it's illegal. It's unconstitutional. Period. End of fucking story. No poll taxes. Voting is a right of every citizen over the age of 18. If you want to take that right away, you have to prove that that person doesn't have that right. And one of the best ways to do it, national federal ID. Everybody gets one. It's got all your important stuff on it. Not hackable would be preferable, obviously. And then it just has your main address, your a phone number and an email associated with you, your social security number, and a couple other details, maybe a thumbprint encoded in it on the strip, right? And it's the highest level security technically that we can come up with, and you use that just like most state IDs do this exact same fucking thing. Most of them do that. But then just have a federal one. That's all. And you can still get your state ID. You can still use your driver's license from North Carolina or fucking Alabama if you want to. But if you don't have one of those, you've got one for free. And you need ID to buy bread.
Present danger. All those things happen. You know, I saw Congressman Dean Phillips in New Hampshire, and I went up to him and I said, I just want to thank you.
Oh, that was sweet of you. No wonder he thinks Republicans are super, super sweet. Because you go up to the spoilers on the other side and go, you're awesome. Keep at it.
Thank you for saying what you said. And think about what he did. He came out of his event. He is a Democrat. He saw a Trump event going on. He didn't hop in a black car service and scurry away to, do whatever with his campaign. He went into a Trump rally, not knowing if he would be welcome, just to meet the voters and see what they're like, and then offered kind words.
And everybody was like, hey, we recognize you. You're the guy who's running against Biden and shit-talking your own fucking party. We love you.
How much better
Where's Marianne Williamson? Is she your wife?
would we be as a society if a Republican said, hey, I want to get to know a Biden voter? If a Biden voter
They do it all the time. What the fuck do you think purple districts are?
said, hey, I want to get to know a Haley voter or I want to get to know a Trump voter, we could dispel of this divide and get back to the common.
Oh my, first of all, she worked for the most divisive president we've ever had. And they keep trying to lay this off on fucking Obama that racial issues came up because he was fucking black. Like, his immutable characteristics are his fault in this thing, not us, not our fucking response, right? Not our dealing with it. It's the fact that he was a black man, that's what was so divisive. Meanwhile, Trump can just shit talk everybody. He can fuck states out of protective equipment during a pandemic because the governor isn't sucking up to him.
We have as American citizens first.
Amen.
Amen. Hey, everyone.
By the way, I would just like to point out also that one of the reasons why Republicans are panicking is because at the center of the four ladies on that thing was a gay man who's a Democrat who's marrying a gay Republican, and he just said amen at the end. Can you imagine the pearl clutching that is going on? If I can normalizing the gay over at Fox, what the shit? Yeah, they are. Yeah, and I'm for it, by the way. Good on them. Very nice of them. You know, could have been a lot worse. Very sweet. And congratulations on his nuptials. Now, isn't it interesting when people who are on the other side of the aisle cross over to the other side and they reach out a hand, try to build a bridge. You know, a bridge to Little Dick Town. Little Dick Playground. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what's left of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And he's on Fox News. Surprise, surprise, surprise. And he's got a message for you and me. And it's, this is bad for democracy and the Democratic Party. Okay, first of all, you're running as an independent. So fuck off. Really? Did Marianne suspend her campaign for real? Please tell me there's video. Please. Really? Did that just happen? Oh boy. Okay, I gotta. I'll hunt for that in a second. Meanwhile, this dickhead is trying to be the Ralph Nader of 2024, and try to make sure that he peels off enough Biden voters to let Trump squeak in. That's the gig. You talk about a fucking spoiler. This is the fucking guy. But I'm, they gave him a whole 4 minutes, 3 minutes and 58 seconds. They gave him a whole 4 minutes on Fox, and I'm sure they're going to be able to let him go in depth on some of these, issues, especially like why people shouldn't get vaccinated and measles is no big deal, and who gives a shit about whooping cough anyways? It's not. When's the last time you met an adult that got whooping cough? Oh, they died as a child. I see. They never got a chance to be a. Yeah. Well, still my point though. I mean, I'm not going to get one. So yeah, he's falconless right now. So yeah, the funny part is he's taking votes from Trump, which is funny. Okay, I find that adorable. Now let's go. Let's see what he has to say, and then we'll see if we can dig up that Marianne Williamson. Goodbye.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is an independent running for
GOP voters are ready for upheaval, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has just chosen a good time to have a nap. By the way, for those of you who don't know, if you don't have time to read his autobiography, I'm just saying he makes Hunter Biden look like a Mormon at a coffee shop.
For president, he joins me now. RFK Jr., what did you learn?
Also, real quick, RFK Jr., did you learn anything about Fox News in your interactions with them? That they are going to give the caramelizing filter to Jesse Waters. They're going to make him look like the security officer on Deep Space Nine. Just no pores, smooth, with just two caterpillars stapled to his fucking forehead. And you they're going to give the truck stop bathroom single bulb light treatment. Because they're not your friend. And the fact that you don't know that and don't take steps to make sure your campaign doesn't take steps to make sure is another sign you shouldn't be fucking president.
From New Hampshire.
I guess, I guess, one of the messages is that Nikki Haley spent $31 million there and $37 million in Iowa and did not perform that well. I think,
Okay. She's getting bigger numbers than you are, and she's the only person running against Trump in the Republican Party right now. She spent the same amount of money in both states. She came in third in the first one and second in the second one, and got within shooting distance of him for $31 million as far as a campaign. It's fucking chump change. You understand? She spent the same amount of money in two states, and she went from third to second. Maybe it's not about the money you spent. Maybe it's about how your message is growing or the people that are supporting you. Good Lord.
It seems what Biden said, President Biden said last night, that Trump is the presumptive winner of the election. I think that's true, and I think.
Great. I'm so glad we had you on. Thanks. It's a way to wrap it up for all of us. It's that's what you get on Jesse Waters' show, a perspective you're not going to hear anywhere else. I guess there is some breaking news. RFK Jr. says Biden is right. I think that's all. We'll just take that. How about that?
I think what you said.
Also, by the way, the reason his voice is the way it is because he has vocal paralysis. Just for the record, he has it is an ailment. And I don't mock people for stuff they can't control, just for the record.
It's true that President Biden is probably not going to campaign, and that the Democrats are relying on the court cases and to try to derail the election,
What? What do you mean he's not going to campaign? No, he's just going to campaign like he's campaigning for the general. And here's the other thing. What the fuck difference do you think there's going to be? What do you think what do you think the difference will be between Trump's little rando gatherings in fucking New Hampshire and Iowa and his rando gatherings in every other place he shows up in, which is mostly Texas and Florida, because he's afraid of people showing up and booing him. So he only goes to these safe, super red areas to do his fucking his intimate rallies. What do you think is going to be different? What do you think that the Democrats aren't going to have shit to mine from the goofy bullshit he talks about? You think there's going to be a change? What do you think he's going to do? A general pivot and become more stable and presidential?
Keep President Trump off the ballot, and I think that's a very, very bad strategy. I think
it's not their strategy. It's an occurrence because he tried to do an insurrection, and that's the law.
It's bad for democracy.
All right. You're bad for democracy, dummy.
I think it's bad for the Democratic Party.
Also, can I just say for the record that Jesse Waters looks like he's worried about RFK Jr. Dying on air as opposed to reacting to what he's talking about.
I think it's bad for everybody.
It sure is. I mean, he wouldn't debate you. Now it might look like he's not going to debate Trump. He's not going to.
Oh, my God. Does he have a white lip thing right now, or is that just shine?
Campaign. Where does that leave RFK Jr. in all this mix here?
Up his own ass.
Well, I'm already, my favorability ratings are now better than either President Trump or President Biden.
Because people view you as harmless?
I am.
And also, what you mean amongst what? Anti-vaxxers and people who believe that black helicopters cause all the trouble on Earth?
Beating both President Trump and President Biden in all Americans under 45.
all Americans under 40, especially the ones that don't plan to vote.
In the 6 battleground states, I'm beating them across the country, but very, very decisively with independent voters which are now the biggest party. This will be.
Yeah, no, dude, I gotta say, you're younger than Trump and Biden, and you're more of a wreck. And it's not just his voice. Like, this dude, he's supposed to be the young candidate. His argument is supposed to be, we don't need these old guys. We need somebody feisty.
The first election in American history where independents are now the biggest self-identified party.
That's because all the Republicans got fucking embarrassed by voting for Trump and Bush.
I'm gaining points in the election, about 1 point a month.
A month. Great. And all from Trump. Keep at it, dum-dum.
And I've got 9 months, and I've got, all I need to do is to get the 34 points to win the election, and I'm already at 24.
Wow.
Average.
That just scared Jesse Waters. He's like, wow, maybe we're attacking the wrong person.
Battleground state.
Are you on the ballot in these battlegrounds?
No, but I'll be on the ballot in every state and the District of Columbia. We just completed our signatories today for New Hampshire. We got 5,000 signatures in a single day. So it took us 1 day to qualify for New Hampshire. So I'm very, very confident that we'll be in the ballot.
Right, because everybody who was at the Trump rallies signed your shit because they thought you would take votes away from Donald Trump. I mean, well, you are taking them from Donald Trump. You're taking him away from Joe Biden. Like, yeah, I'll sign the RFK thing. Yes, he should be able to. This is America. Have fun, dummy.
And I think, Jesse, people, I don't think we got the 2 most unpopular people running in modern history.
Motherfucker, you're talking about splitting it 3 ways with them.
And
how do people over 45 view you? The people who actually know your record on shit.
I think that Americans deserve more than choosing the lesser of two evils. And if you talk to Republicans or Democrats, so many of them say, yeah, I'm not voting for President Biden, I'm voting against President Trump, and vice versa.
No, they don't. The people walking up to you say that. All right. Can you imagine if I walked around and I said, man, you know what? Everybody must have seen Queer as Folk and Lab Rats, I Love the 80s, and Dude, Where's My Car? Because when I'm walking around, people walk up to me all the time and say they've seen one of those 4 things or maybe more than one. So to me, that says everyone in the world has seen all 4 of those. You see the problem there? This is like a bug light that believes that there are no other flying things in the world except bugs. Everyone who comes up to me is a bug. No.
And I think it's really important for our democracy that we have somebody who can inspire us.
Well, I'm busy right now. I'm doing a live stream. I mean, I'm going to run at some point, but I mean, I got some work to do first. I feel like I got to be, I think I'm a mayor, governor, president. I think that's a reasonable thing. It's all executive positions. That works for me. It's going to have to be a relatively big city for me to be the mayor. So I'm choosing, like I love Karen Bass. I think she's doing a great job in LA. So might have to be Chicago, perhaps. We'll see. Vegas would be a little silly, but it would still work. And I'm going to keep my hair for all of them. So, anyways, but don't worry. I'll do plenty of inspiring things from the private sector.
And somebody that people actually like and want to vote for. So.
Yeah. Me. Also me. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Stop. I had no idea until this moment that RFK Jr. was in the Draft Hal Sparks crowd, but I mean, I can't say I blame him because me doing the work is way better than him doing the work.
Oh, and
actually imagine that. Imagine a politician someone actually likes. That would be fun. All right.
Wait a minute. Is Jesse Waters saying that he doesn't actually like Donald Trump? You're just gonna ping that. Just gonna lay that out there. So you don't like Donald Trump. You don't like him. Okay. You're just gonna run with that. Okay, cool. Well, from now on, just a reminder to let everybody know that Jesse Waters does not like Donald Trump. He does not find him likable. I mean, that's the news. Hashtag Jesse Waters says Trump is not likable.
All right, RFK Jr., he says he's going to be on the ballot everywhere, and it's a three-man race, three-person race. We don't want to offend anybody out there. RFK Jr., thanks as always.
If people want to know more, they should go.
They should, they should go fuck themselves. Good Lord. I don't have to do the sales part. I don't have to. I don't have to. Let's see. All right. We had, I think that's a pretty full show. Pretty full show tonight. Lots of details, lots of information, lots of stuff floating around. I think we did all right. Now, we don't know if the Marianne Williamson thing is true at this point. Facebook effort to kill her campaign has ended her presidential run. Congratulations. That's from X. That's what we've heard this. Is this true? We don't know. I'm not seeing this thing happen with the do. Not, yeah. Nope. I don't see it. Okay. Is the fabric paint washable? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The fabric paint on the jacket is washable. I can wash it and it will stay on. Yeah. Sorry. No offense, Hal, but I know you're from YouTube. Hey, I'm proud of that fact. That's an interesting thing. And I haven't done any of the actual fucking work around this, but real quick before we close down the show for tonight, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. There may not be. I don't think I'm going to do an afternoon show tomorrow because I've got to drive to LA if my car's working. Otherwise, we'll see. And then I'm going to turn right around and drive back after my show and do radio on Saturday, bleary-eyed, because this is how we do it. Maybe we'll figure it out. Everything's up in the air. It's always okay. So, who in the chat room only knows me from this show? Even if they're aware that I did other stuff. They haven't seen my other stuff. Haven't seen Talk Super, Dude, Where's My Car, or I Love the 80s, 90s, 70s, Lab Rats, Queer as Folk. That's awesome. Look at this. Right on. Look at all these folks. Excellent. Spider-Man 2, yeah, that's true. That's another one you could throw in there. Well, that's fantastic. I'm very proud of that fact because this show should stand on its own, right? There you go. And then now you got some binge homework you could do. If you got kids, Lab Rats is the trick. If you got gay friends who haven't told you about Queer as Folk, they might not really be gay. They might. I don't want to get too. I'm just kidding. They might be lying to you. They might be in the down low being straight. I'm kidding. So that's great. I love that fact. I'm so glad that people know me from this show by itself. And I appreciate also Naked Bad people that go all the way back to Talk Soup. Oh, yeah, CSI, sure. They're gay adjacent. That's right. There you go. And I mean, of course, okay, there you go. I Love the 80s. Yep. Spectacular. Charmageddon, my stand-up special. I didn't even mention that. Look at that. And then, of course, my radio show on WCPT that I've been doing for 15 years. I got a body of work. 01. The album's available on iTunes. I actually got two records out. One's an acoustic record and one's a full production metal record. There might be some folks that are just like, yeah, that's right. They just saw Florida Man and followed the link. I love it. For the record, I've got to go. I'm going to hang up now because I'm going to go work on a song for the next jam, which I've been wanting to do for a long time, which is so random. And if any of you want to go listen to it, it's very hair ballad, but you can only find it on YouTube. It's so sad. The album's not available. House of Lords, Love Don't Lie. Chuck, our bass player, who's in the house band and created the Ultimate Jam Night, he was in House of Lords on that album. He's like a little young Chuck is in the video. And I loved that fucking song. I loved it when I was in high school. And I was like, I brought it up to him recently. And I was like, I love this record. I want you to know this because he played on it. Again, always tell your heroes you appreciate what they do. And I brought up that song, and he's like, that should have been a much bigger hit. It was a huge hit in Chicago in the market where I was. We loved it. But it didn't break nationwide, and that was that. And so I guess it inspired him, so we're going to do that song next time. Oh, Williamson's entire South Carolina operation quit? Weren't they on the verge of quitting anyways a little bit ago? Yeah? Didn't she lose her, campaign chairs 3 months ago in South Carolina? Wasn't there a lot of drama in that crowd anyways? What a shock. There you go. There's CSL. That's right. I fucking love that song. It's very nice. It's melodic. It's got a kind of a foreigner ballad aspect to it. And I will be singing my ass off in a very, very tight outfit. Just throwing that out there. Just letting you know. Okay? Get ready. Okay? Okay? You see what I'm saying?